At the age of 15, Miyamoto Musashi went on Musha Shugyo, which means warrior's pilgrimage. During this time of his life, he traveled the land practicing his skills independently and engaged in a series of duels. After he received Ronin status, he encountered the most challenging opponent he ever faced, Sasaki Kojiro, and killed him. After this event, he renounced doing lethal duels. He eventually retired to a cave, where he wrote down his knowledge and wisdom for later generations. Musashi's written works expand on the path of the warrior, which is the samurai way of discipline, focus, restraint, and honor. The path of the warrior is governed by moral and ethical codes that are commonly referred to as Bushido. Shortly before he died, Musashi compiled 21 principles on how a warrior should live. These timeless principles, known as Dokodo, can inspire us today to live well. This 3-part series elaborates on the 21 principles of Musashi's Dokodo. The first and second part explored the first 14 principles. This third and final part further explores the path of the warrior, based on the last 7 principles. Please note, the elaborations in this video are based on existing philosophies, the author's interpretations and reasoning, and are intended to be an inspiration for present-day life. (15) Do not act following customary beliefs. When we look at human behavior, we see the characteristics of a herd animal. Many people slavishly follow the norm. Not necessarily because it's the best thing to do, but because everyone does it. Musashi was aware of the dangers of blind obedience and probably experienced the unskillfulness of leaders in his time. These could be the leaders of a so-called Koryu, which is a Japanese school of traditional arts, but also politicians and even the emperor himself. When we carelessly follow customary beliefs, we throw away our common sense, rational thinking capacity, and in some cases our morality in the process. Something being the norm doesn't mean that it isn't evil. We can find countless examples of this in history, in which people collectively engage in evil, convinced that what they do is somehow justifiable. The events during the Second World War illustrate that people who blindly follow the dominant narrative are capable of doing horrifying things. Another example is the general attitude towards drinking in Western culture. While the use of narcotics is frowned upon, drinking alcohol is institutionalized and considered acceptable, fun, and social, even though its effects can be as destructive, if not even more, as using narcotics. It's so normalized that it's the only drug that we have to justify not taking, even when alcohol consumption contributes to approximately 3 million deaths each year, according to the World Health Organization. Hence, customary beliefs aren't always the best guidelines. Musashi, who has lived as a ronin as well as a hermit, spent significant amounts of time separated from society and its norms. One of the benefits of such solitude is that it shields us from outside influences and lets us watch the world from a distance. This makes it easier to independently decide what's beneficial to our lives and what isn't. 16. Do not collect weapons or practice with weapons beyond what is useful. Miyamoto Musashi carried a long and a short sword, not because he wanted to show off his weaponry, but because he was skilled in fighting with 2 swords, and carrying 2 swords was the way of the warrior. In the Book of 5 Rings, Musashi explains that every weapon has unique characteristics. The companion sword, for example, is preferable in confined spaces or when you're close to your opponent, as opposed to spears and halberds that are best used on the battlefield. So even though there's a wide range of choices and functionalities when it comes to weaponry, Musashi advises us not to collect or practice with weapons beyond what's useful. We can see this as a metaphor for everyday life. One of the traps that many ambitious people fall into is that they don't stick with the essentials that get the job done. They engage in unnecessary activities, make unnecessary investments, spend unnecessary amounts of time networking with people without making any significant progress. The inability to clearly define what we need to achieve our goals and stick with doing what needs to be done is a recipe for failure. Sometimes this involves ruthlessly cutting out the elements that, despite their inherent value and usefulness, are useless in the context of our pursuit. However, Musashi also argues that we shouldn't get too attached to one particular way or method either. The samurai practiced with a variety of weapons, from swords to sticks, and knew the abilities and characteristics of each weapon they used, which made them flexible fighters that could be deployed in different kinds of battles. I quote, "You should not have a favorite weapon. To become over-familiar with one weapon is as much a fault as not knowing it sufficiently well. You should not copy others, but use weapons which you can handle properly. It is bad for commanders and troops to have likes and dislikes. These are things you must learn thoroughly." End quote. So, being successful is a delicate process, and Musashi seems to point to the golden middle path between having a lack of focus and being too fixated and attached to one thing. 17. Do not fear death. The awareness of death was an essential part of being a samurai. Students of the sword were trained to fight duels to the death. By being subjugated to relentless practice, they were made ready to fight battles and to be routinely faced with death. Generally speaking, Musashi stated, the way of the warrior is the resolute acceptance of death. End quote. Truly accepting death means not fearing death. And when we don't fear death, we won't give ground when our lives are threatened in battle. Thus, on the battlefield or in a duel, the acceptance of death is empowering. But how about everyday life? Even though most of us are probably less prone to getting our skulls crushed by a long sword compared to those who lived in 17th century Japan, death is still lurking in the shadows everywhere we go. Life isn't a fairy tale. We all die, and we could die anytime. Yet many of us let the fear of the inevitable generate unnecessary anxiety. This is unfortunate because as long as we're still alive, we're not dead. So in no way it hinders us. But when we're dead, we're not alive, and we simply don't know what it's like. So we cannot judge whether or not it's a bad thing to die. Maybe death is the portal to something much more enjoyable than life. Maybe not. But if death means simply the absence of life, we're at least liberated from all of life's sufferings. In short, it's pointless to worry about death because we don't know what it is. 18. Do not seek to possess either goods or fiefs for your old age. It may be clear by now that Musashi was a minimalist. He lived for honor, victory, perfecting his skill, and contributing to humanity by sharing his wisdom. He fought duel after duel, knowing that he could die at the sword of his opponent. He tells us not to seek to possess either goods or fiefs for old age. In the modern day, this could translate to sacrificing our time and energy now in exchange for possessions, money, and investments that we can enjoy when we're old. He doesn't say that we shouldn't be concerned with old age at all. From learning about his life, I would say that Musashi, despite repeatedly having walked on the edge between life and death, was quite concerned with the future, including the possibility of longevity. Otherwise, he wouldn't have cared about honor or leaving a legacy. So, to find a deeper meaning behind this lesson, we may want to turn to Buddhism again for philosophical substance. The Buddha isn't against acquiring wealth, as long as we acquire it in wholesome ways and use it for good. But running after wealth takes a lot of effort and can exhaust us and even destroy our health and overall well-being. So even though there's nothing wrong with wealth, we may ask ourselves if achieving it is the best pursuit available. Instead, we might want to invest our lives in developing the mind. In Musashi's case, this pursuit was embodied by the perfection of his swordsmanship. But there are other ways available that could potentially be far more fulfilling as well as reliable than the accumulation of wealth. Instead of trying to enter old age as rich as possible, a Buddhist might focus on developing a sense of contentment with the present moment instead. Because if we can be content with little, we can retire with a small pension. 19. Respect Buddha and the gods without counting on their help. Following Buddha as a spiritual teacher or believing in God or other deities doesn't mean that we aren't responsible for our own lives. There are many religious and philosophical views on why we exist on this planet. Some say that we're here to serve God or multiple gods. Others say that our lives are nothing more than a cosmic joke and that our existence is entirely pointless. Some claim that the course of our lives is written in the stars. Others claim that we have free will and that our lives are not predetermined. Whatever the truth might be, we're still confined to what our senses perceive. When we look at the nature of human existence from our own viewpoint, we see that we do have agency. Moreover, we're responsible for what we do and don't do. Now, what fortune gives us is beyond our control, but we do control how we handle what fortune, or God for that matter, presents to us. This human ability to choose is an inherent part of most religions. The Christians have their 7 virtues, the Muslims have their 5 pillars, and the Buddhists have their Eightfold Path. These guidelines and precepts all imply that it's up to us to choose the right path, despite the circumstances. So we can pray to a deity for help, hoping that this will change the unwanted circumstances. But does it truly work that way? We better not count on it. A much better investment is to focus on our own strength, wisdom, and resilience, so we can deal with the situation at hand, no matter how dreadful. At the end of the day, we are responsible for our own lives. 20. You may abandon your own body, but you must preserve your honor. The way of the warrior is one of honor, meaning that preserving honor is more important than preserving one's life. But honor is a complicated and subjective concept, which differs from culture to culture. Roman Catholic missionary Francis Xavier was one of the first Western people to visit Japan, where he arrived in the year 1550. He described how the Japanese valued honor as well as warfare and weaponry. They felt superior to all nations in, and I quote, military glory and valor, and honored everything that concerned war, end quote. More recent accounts tell us about the spirit of Bushido of the Japanese soldiers who fought during the Second World War, for whom dying for the emperor was the greatest honor. Surrendering to the enemy, however, was considered an act of cowardice. I quote, those who had surrendered to the Japanese, regardless of how courageously or honorably they had fought, merited nothing but contempt. They had forfeited all honor and literally deserved nothing. End quote. At the end of the day, the way we handle honor depends on personal and cultural preferences. If we think that honor is more important than life, then it's worth dying for. But if we don't care about honor, we probably choose to live over the preservation of it. According to Musashi, however, the value of honor exceeded life and death. 21. Never stray from the way. The path of the warrior is one of extreme determination, on which there's little room for deviation. Musashi's way was the way of the sword, which he dedicated himself to completely and transcended everything else, including life and death. Now, the degree of commitment of those who walk the path of the warrior can be considered extreme, looking at it from a modern Western viewpoint. These days, true commitment seems rare, as most of us are consumers in a throwaway society, going from pleasure to pleasure, instead of choosing a more difficult path of sacrifice and restraint at the service of a higher goal, even if this higher goal could be the quality of our own life and well-being. But still, if we truly want to get something done, something significant, we have to commit to a certain degree. It's difficult to get any serious work done when we aren't dedicated. This applies to business, relationships, creative projects, or a spiritual path. It applies to mastering any skill, from cooking to playing an instrument, but also to conquering bad habits and addictions. Musashi's life is a testimony of what we can accomplish if we fully, wholeheartedly commit to a goal. In his case, sword fighting. Musashi fought more than 60 duels, many of which were to the death, and he won all of them. Furthermore, he left a legacy for centuries to come, and he is honored to this day. Thank you for watching.
Recon. Put you in the sickle for the harvest is right. We ain't down for wickedness, false prophets a lie. Woman to the wicked grass of blind to sight. Unquenchable flame stars fall in the night. Shemayim snapped the scroll, mountains fled in the anger. Hills of flock of rams skipping special forces, recon angels. Really by no labels, we bout labor for the source. Wells up in infinite, waters coming forth. Spiritual revival, dehydration shall I pour. Kept the run down to the mouth, cool floor. Kingdom heaven in me is boss of the morbid head. Treasure like deep in you, key to the never end. We all a real fragment piece of the sea sled. Point of a center, he segment filled in with ether. He'll be on and then you're passing the present teacher. Pre-sealed and covenant in Nehemiah, not Easter. We all a real fragment piece of the sea sled. Point of a center, he segment filled in with ether. He'll be on and then you're passing the present teacher. Pre-sealed and covenant in Nehemiah, not Easter. Not a game, stolen the soul arrangement. Have a in the details, mirrors and smoking angels, incriminating emails, fake news, read the paper, pimping who been printing, it's all designed to take ya. Division in your cells, almighty sustain, ain't got how relying on nothing else. In trouble, it's all vapor, elder wind in the sails, the water, the whole rainbow, reclamation, just a vessel, the rest of Jonah you came from. Stay mind, blow it holy, who, Lord, if they only knew how they controlling you, thought still a slave. Look how they holding you, enemy scoping you, word on my way.
Let's go, slaves.
Lord, if they only knew how they controlling you,
y'all still a slave.
Look how they holding you, enemy scoping you, word on my way. Force tremendous, Bill Adam breath, living dust, mushy for the enemy, burnt down like a Dutch. Once upon a distant, dirty sackcloth in the ashes. Truth don't grow with mischief, prayer get raised about the ashes. Save me from the mire, I would fell if not your pasture. Had you not an anchor, if you save me, I'll be thrown. Thorn to the thief, leech, mind to the corn. Stone in the sling, sing signs in the storm. Rock foundation, time echo with the north. Recon over gang, wings fly with the force. All purpose type material to camouflage the course. Tiger stripe, orange, red drip from the source. We all array, your fragment piece of the sea slits. Point of a center, he segment filled in with ether. He'll be on it then, you're passing the present teacher. Pre-sealed and covenant in Nehemiah, not Easter. Stay mind, dwell with holy who. Lord, if they only knew how they controlling you, thought still a slave. Look how they holding you, enemy scoping you, word on my word. Stay mind, dwell with holy who. Lord, if they only knew how they controlling you, thought still a slave. Look how they holding you, enemy scoping you, word on my word.
I'm more than happy to take a peek at the title if you're willing to give it to me.
Yeah, I'm sure you are, but that's my thing. I'm not trying to give up
my fault. I just thought you said you were willing to show it.
Right. It's important to get every single person and piece of property registered and identified with a state of and a corporate entity. We just gotta do it. It's gotta happen.
Questions like why I do what I do, why I am the person I am, and how you can't see that by coming up to a man and trying to identify him. Like a piece of plastic doesn't identify me. That's not me. I am me.
Why do we all pretend like it's better to exchange little plastic pieces to pretend that means anything about who I am, that am is, or what I am, that am, or what it's connected to? Better yet, right? So that is the greatest resource and source of order and co-creation. The little plastic pieces don't do it any justice.
This is like my personal journey.
Dude, it's crazy because if you would have just given me your name,
If you guys would adjust, right? This is your logic. This is the logic of a tyrant, right? This is the logic of a horrible parent. This is the logic of an authoritarian everywhere. If you would have just did everything that we told you and asked you, we wouldn't try to make your life harder and do loss, injury, and harm to you. That is the rallying cry of tyrants everywhere from the beginning of time. Go fuck yourself. You don't get to tell us what we're going to do and be in life. All you teachers, all you parents, all you authoritarians, all you false prophets, you don't get to tell us what we're going to do and be in life at the expense of rolling up your sleeves and doing harm, like the Tao says. You know, all you subjective moralists, all you solipsists, who you and your dogma is the only thing in creation that actually exists that you can confirm.
But say, if I would have just complied, if I would have just done what she wanted, maybe that'd be better for me. Nah, if you would just maybe listen to what I'm saying, maybe it'd be better for you. Maybe, just maybe you're making a mistake. Maybe you shouldn't be doing this to people. Maybe you're like security guard for someone you don't even know. You're a security force for an invisible entity. You're working for, you don't know, you might be working for the devil.
Stop telling other motherfuckers who may be born and may be meant to be here at this time to influence all of us to do better and be better and have better, to just stop and just shut up and just go away. You're ahead of the game. No, fuck that. It's called free expression. It's called getting really real with ourselves and each other. It's called gambling, cosmic gambling on the truth and on faith. You didn't just hear him? You didn't just hear him? He said he's waiting for the day, just like I am, when they actually can show me that they can hurt me.
Just so you know, you should be cooperative in that way. Does that make sense?
But see, we can disagree.
That you have.
To submit, comply, and obey. I don't have a responsibility to submit and comply and obey to you guys. I don't. I have an authority to God, and I have an authority to my spirit. Like, so you guys, it doesn't matter what you guys do. Like I said, you guys could take me to jail. I only get better and level up from this stuff. You guys have never hurt me yet. I'm waiting to see when you guys can hurt me. When you guys take me to jail, when you guys try to do something to hurt me, it never works. You guys never teach me a lesson. You guys are never going to come up to my car and say, and then later on be like, okay, I'm going to give you the ID this time because I went to jail that time. I'm telling you guys, man. And this ain't just about me and my dirty ass in this car. I'm speaking a truth that's beyond me in this fucking car and my goofy presentation.
All right. So, Mr. No Name, we're gonna go with it. I want you to know what we legally are allowed to do, and then I want to proceed with what we're going to. And today we're gonna serve you by just calling it good as is and leave it alone, and hope we don't have any later run-ins. How's that sound?
You guys do. All three of you, like your energy, like I deal with officers in situations like this, and our people do too. Like I mess with your energy. Like, even though you guys, we might not be connected, like you guys could do things to me. Like, even the language, like we could like cause loss, injury, or harm to you, but we're just not going to. That's how it is to me and my people.
It's us enforcing the laws thereof. Yes.
Right, but we as human beings to one another, like we all come from families, we're all brothers and sisters. Right. That's the kind of how I looked at it. Like we don't even get along with our own families a lot. So like, we're at the dinner table and we're having a discussion about something. That's how I look at it. And you guys are saying we can legally do this, we can legally do that, but we got to get back to the spirit of our gut instincts. It doesn't matter what's on all these papers.
Powerful, Brian O'Shea. Can't watch that one enough. Watch it 1,000 times. Greetings, folks. We're going to get right into it. Jeeps is onto it. Regis is of the king. So, of course, Regis Stir would be to essentially turn over your value and your property to the king of the kingdom, right? So men and women record, feudal serf slaves register. Why are we crackling? What is that? Why is that happening? I don't like that. Clown the fraud, Zachary Quacking Hubbard. What do you mean clown the fraud? He's clowning himself every day. He gets on Talcots, jacks off, he wastes his fucking time. He fucking lies and grifts all day, every day. Bullshits the people, has no fucking credibility or integrity. Schizophrenic as all get out, like the majority of these folks, you know? And again, I'm not denying that there's not number in synchronicity. Again, fine line between synchronicity and schizophrenia, as I always say. So I'm not denying synchronicity. Numbers are part of this experience. You will see patterns and connections with numbers. These are people who sit around and don't do anything other than lie and grift and push sports scores and bullshit everybody, and then yell out a bunch of numbers that are like non sequitur and make connections there that the rest of us aren't experiencing or seeing. And then they like to pretend to themselves it's because they're just so high and mighty and conscious and aware. No, you're just obsessive. You're just a control freak. You're just a neurotic narcissist. It allows you to cope with the fact that you have no actualized, realized value or principles. You know this rap. It's the same rap for all of them. Remember this group? The woman sent me this today, Miss Queen Larifa, the one who does the thumbnails. Every single one of these people. And guess what? Newsflash. You could have had 15 fucking more of them on there that we've experienced. Chili decastrated, Slackcott, Slackery Hubbard, Bitchel, Brian Not So Young, and Snafu the Slave. You know, that's just a handful of the characters we've seen here that all embody the same idea. If they're not poor and broke, they got a sizable amount of coin of this realm, not of the realm, of this realm, right? Which amounts to nothing. It's backed by nothing. So if they're not poor and broke, they have this. But the other things they don't have is this right here, these right here, right? They don't have this going. You know, some have said, like the White Gorilla, they don't have this, right? And they definitely don't have this going. It's not even about this. This, you know, and then what's down there? It's a family broadcast, so I don't want to move the camera down in there, you know, but I think you get what I'm saying. You know, they don't know if they have a C or a C between their legs, as I've said before. And you can extrapolate. And for those of you who can't figure out what I'm saying, let me know in the chat if you can't figure out what a C or a C is. You know, they look between their legs. They don't know if they have a C or a C. It's a family broadcast. I don't want to be too lewd and crude and rude. The sun hasn't gone down yet. They don't have camo hoodies. Right. They don't have anything that I have. They're not doing anything that I'm doing. What they are doing that I'm not doing is bullshitting, lying, and grifting, projecting, ignoring reality, coping in hallucination, and then projecting on people like me that we're bad and wrong and we're mean. Bad and wrong and mean. No, we're just real. And you motherfuckers are fake as shit. And the only reason you have a platform that continues is because the majority of the public is retarded. This rap's not going to change. I didn't want to do this rap today, but again, if we were to focus on someone or something else, including this self, to some degree in this creation, the rap's going to continue the same way. You know, that's the holographic nature of this thing going on here. Skinny Paulie got his hair did. Yeah, I cut it myself. You know, I cut my own hair. I don't go anywhere to have these people do anything for me or on me as much as possible. I like to be self-sufficient and self-sustainable. So yeah, real quick, I took about 15, 20 minutes. Did a little fade. I don't know how it came out, but too bad for the old boy. Tricking retarded people into giving you money isn't admirable and will always result in your downfall. Exactly. If it negatively affects the retards, it doesn't even matter if it doesn't negatively affect the retards. You're lying, you're bullshitting, you're coping, you're a coward, and you know it. There's no escaping who and what we are and what we know about ourselves and what we think other people know or don't know about us, or what we would rather other people not know or see about us. Right? Because that's one of the reasons. It's not really that I'm not nice, kind, and polite. These folks run in the opposite direction from me or get completely freaked out and triggered, and then try to project onto me because they know I can see. Right? That's who would get the feathers ruffled of the narcissistic, power-hungry, grifting scum. They turn a blind eye to me. They don't mention me. You know, if they do mention me, it's like backhanded at this point. Well, Paul Enslaved had a good video at one point. He went viral, but everything after that's kind of like him potentially putting people at risk by getting a half dozen dismissals, not showing up at court for 3 or 4 of them, taking the other 2 through to some degree, now suing people. I'm doing everything you fucking slaves should be doing. Why you're not doing it yet after I've done it is beyond me. I'm just a fucking fat heroin addict in a trailer. Ex-heroin addict, right? I don't obviously do it anymore, but are you ever an ex-addict? According to NAAA, they say no. So it's just kind of confusing to me. All the folks with all the money, the big money, you know, the big condos and houses, you know, the ones who like to plan all the trips and fly on the planes and have all the extras, why they don't focus on the main thing, you know? So one does not supplant, sublimate, or substitute the other. 2025 saying is money can't unlame you, money can't unslave you. Okay, and I don't think anybody can deny that. The funniest part about, again, the whole world is pimping and hoeing, they just don't know it. Most of you fuckboy slaves who got all that money, who trick and simp and only get it because you want to spend it on one or multiple goofy bitches, Once those bitches get tired of you and they pretty much don't respect you from the jump, they come and spend that money with someone like daddy, who they really respect, who they see doing something. Doesn't matter if I live in a trailer. You know? Doesn't matter if I don't have all the extras. I got the most important stuff. I got what matters. Right? So that's how life works. That's not arrogance. That's not ego. That's not pride. That's fucking reality. And anytime you folks want to put it to the test, just go out in the world and put it to the test. Many of you may have already had it put to the test on you in the world. You know, let's not forget 50 to 60 these inauthentic corporate beta males wind up at court with half their shit gone. Like some kind of magic trick. You know? You didn't know that goofy broad that you were bumping into and saying you loved was a part-time magician. She can make half your shit disappear. So, and again, yeah, I don't blame her. Ultimately, this is about the men. You know, you don't have the discernment to know who's riding with you or on principles. You let these goofy broads up around you. You don't take accountability, responsibility. You don't lead or show respect. Then they're going to walk all over you and take what you got. And I'm not a player hater, even if it's reverse pimping. Do you, boo-boo? Like Ian said that one day over there. I fucking cracked up. Do you, boo-boo? You know, get that money. They ducks anyway, right? That's the reality of it. Although, you know, I can talk all that bullshit, but at the end of the day, I don't really support it. You know, ethically, I don't support women getting with these ducks and these lames and taking them for half their shit after they're done running through them. You know, I don't support that. That just proves you're a low value woman. High value woman is supposed to have discernment. She's supposed to see and know and understand and intuit and have instinct, right? She's supposed to want to fuck the one who's the best. If she ain't doing that and she ain't seeking to do that, but quite the opposite, settling for less for herself and bringing about children with some inauthentic corporate beta male, well, she's fucked up. She doesn't understand herself. She doesn't know herself. She doesn't know true power and value, and she's settling for less. You know, so that's her issue, right? But ultimately, the man has to see through that. The man has to know himself and know a woman, and not even let that around him, let alone keep that around him. I don't want to get too deep into this because I could talk generally about the psychology and sub-psychology, but these dynamics are at play all day, every day. I don't want to get too specific. And your favorite rappers online, your favorite rapper, non-rappers, YouTube posts. The word is out there, the information out there, the dynamics are clear. So, hopefully that sweet lady takes all of Zach's stuff. Come on, bro. You already know where that's going. Just like he knows where it's going. He'll deny it. He won't cop to it in public, but you see how desperate he is when he comes up on Slackcot's fucking stream to nobody in complete delusion and says, I'm working hard. I just stopped by to ask why everyone's attacking Jack, right? Desperate and pathetic. Guarantee you, P already. The worst part is, person, you don't know this because you may not have been here, but fucking Whack Hubbard came over here one day and had a conversation with me. Ask the motherfuckers who were here. I got him to put it on record. What I already knew that he wouldn't cop to. He finally put it on record in front of everybody. He said, I was doing truthing. I was doing rights. Not rights. I was doing truthing and numbers and whatever the fuck he does. And the woman was with me and we were doing it for years and it wasn't paying the bills the way it could. And she told me that why don't you start making some more money? Right. Because you know how I say it. I would have said, I've said it in the past when we talked about this. I put it like she gave him the ultimatum, like reverse pimping, like, bitch, get some fucking money or you're gone or I'm gone. And he hopped too. He got right to it. Right. They know. It doesn't matter what he says in front of everybody. After he said that in front of everybody, it doesn't matter what he feels. We know now. I always knew. I just had to get it on record for everybody else. You don't think I can look at these people and see the move? Come on now. Crazy. They keep forgetting I'm not like them in many ways, and that's okay. I'm not saying you got to be like Mike, so to speak. But yeah, I can see the move. I'm pretty astute. I'm pretty intuitive. I know me. I know life. I've pretty much been all over in every type of situation. I've had to count on reading people in order to know who could get robbed and who's going to rob me. And again, that's at one point, that's not now. That hasn't been for over 15 years. Whatever it is. 12 years. But yeah, when you live like that day to day and you're seeing 20 faces a day in various situations that are less than savory, you start to pick up on an ability to kind of read people and situations. We're back to pimping and hoeing. What do you think the pimp's best friend is? His awareness. Just like these administrators. You think like a pimp knows a hoe? You don't think an administrator knows a slave? Same thing with me. I could spot a hoe when I see one. I know a slave when I see one. I know a bitch ass coward and a liar when I see one. Then you jump out the window and put it on record. Okay. You got to live that, right? They act like I'm hating. What is there to hate on? I ain't jealous. I think it's pitiful and embarrassing. I think the fact that I could look at you and not even ever see or talk to that woman and know the dynamic between you two, because guess what? You don't want to believe this, but all you got to do is ask yourself, why is this bitch with me? Like, seriously, Whack Hubbard and others, just ask yourself, why is this bitch with me? I know why Jennifer's with me. And the haters and the actual haters out there will say, well, she's old, she's this and that. Jennifer's hot fire for her age. She gets hit on by men and women every time we go out. So, I'm okay with that. Nobody wants to be with a busted old broad. So do you, boo-boo, get hit on by men and women all you want. But yeah, it's obvious why she's with me. Obvious why I'm with her. Other than her being hot as a pistol for her age, she's got a head and a heart on her and in her. She's got an understanding. She's got some courage on her. She can walk the fucking talk. It's no wonder why we're together. We're a fucking power couple in the truth, in rights and freedom, spiritual faith, principles. Not saying we're not traumatized, not saying we're not dysfunctional in our own ways, not saying we don't have some fucking work to do on ourselves and each other. That's why I'm on day 26, no food fast. We got work to do. There's more to be done. But let's not deny the obvious. So we know why Jennifer's with me and why I'm with her. We can't figure out any reason why you would be with that woman would be with you. Oh yeah, we can, because we can look and understand. You got 2-3 houses now. Like she told you, go get some fucking money or I'm gone. And you went and got some fucking money because you don't want to lose that bitch to actualize and realize. Oops. They forget for 26 years, because of dysfunction and insecurities and self-doubts and a distorted perspective of myself that started with my mother, right? That I had to work out over time. I wasn't chasing no women. And then once I realized that I could quote unquote get them, you can't get a woman, you can share experience. Once I realized I was somewhat attracted to them, it had already changed the import and the value and the power, right? So I decided at some point, I have to make myself into who and what I respect, what I value. What a woman or anybody else thinks or feels about me really doesn't matter. And by virtue of me creating a self and working on a self and continuing to do that, I will draw in what's meant for me. Right. So you're given an ultimatum. You're given a crossroads in every one of these situations. Right. When that goofy bitch told you, right, because you want a simp trick. I'm not in this for simp tricking. Right. There's pimping and then there's simp tricking. I'm in this for proper instruction motivates people. Right. Pimping. I want to do, be, and have better and get better in life and be a better person, and have better results. You don't give a fuck about that because you think you can lie and grift and cheat and play fucking house and play games. And it's not going anywhere. So if you had any kind of wherewithal on you and any kind of God's will in you and any kind of discipline and discernment, soon as a bitch tells you got to go get some more money to entertain her ass, that's the day you show her the door. The fuck is this? You think I'm going to be judged by what I have and don't have from someone like you? Bitch, you go get some fucking money. How about that? You don't have the fucking balls to go send her out to go get something and bring it back. You're too much of a man for that, right? While she sits home and flirts with other guys on Snapchat and whatever else and spends up your money until it's time to go. She don't respect you. There's nothing to respect. The faster you motherfuckers, just like I had to do for 26 fucking years, every day in the mirror, get real with yourself and others about who and what you are and what you've called in and not, is the day you fucking level up. Until then, you're the walking dead. There's nowhere to go but down. That's the reality of life. So there you go. Ignorant strength. You tell me, talk shit on these people, hate on them, whatever verbiage you use. I'm talking truth, bro. I don't need to hate on a motherfucker. There's nothing to hate on. The hating only goes one way. When you got true value and true power and you can fucking rap and you're calling in whatever's meant for you and you're consistent and you don't stop. And they can't believe you showed up again the way you did, despite the outcome. Right? So I don't need to hate. There's nothing to hate on. I'm not jealous and envious to any of these motherfuckers. I don't need to talk shit. The truth is stranger than fiction and hurts them more because they seek to live a lie and cope. All I got to do is bring up the truth. The same thing I know about me that I know about every other self out there, especially a man. What bitch ass motherfucker other than Slack Hot and the rest of here's the crew right here. There's the crew. And you can have 15 more of them on here that we've experienced with. What kind of bitch ass motherfucker as a male thinks they can show up in life and just be pretty and cute or talk some bullshit and sit on their fucking ass all day and not do and be anything or put any results on the record or have to be courageous and somehow make a living? What kind of hoe shit is that is my question. And that's exactly what it is. I just answered my own question. Men don't do that. Men don't show up like these bitches do on these interwebs with all the extras and all the, look at me. What do? Where's your results? Oh, right. You cry at court. Oh, yeah, you bitch online and try to rile up a bunch of slaves who ain't doing nothing. Oh, yeah, you grift and sell sports scores and masks and claim to be a patriot and all the rest of it. Yeah, great. They'll get it at some point. They'll figure it out. Zachary's fake gematria is not from the Kabbalah whatsoever at all. It's just a lying shill. Yeah, no kidding. It doesn't matter. Let's say I'll even give him the benefit of the doubt, right? Which I don't need to because it's obvious what these people all are. You can just look and see. See, some point in history, we got onto this whole thing because we realized, oh my God, we don't know what anything is here. We completely abandoned good sense and good reason, common sense, right? Sensibilities, and just cause and effect results. We've just let all that go to the wayside because there might be something more we don't know about. Okay, there might be. Till we find that out, let's go on what we do seem to know or what seems to work. How about that? Let's use some level of fucking common sense. So this isn't that airy-fairy. It isn't that mysterious and mystical. What you see oftentimes in this life is what you get when it comes to these people. What does it look like to you? Looks like an inauthentic corporate beta male who just wants to be seen and heard and make some fucking money and not actually ever have to sacrifice and deal with consequences. Yeah, that's 95% of them. On YouTube, off YouTube. Be real about it. They show up at the bar and they whisper some garbage into some woman's ear and they do it for the next 10, 20 years and never even show who and what they are to that woman. Never even let that woman into who and what they really are. And you think that they're going to do it to you online? Yeah, right. Sure. And make sure you appeal or let them appeal to you because they act like a bunch of dupes and rubes. Yeah, we're from middle America or we're from LA and we're just nice people. We're just so loving and nice. And you guys eat that shit up and fall for it. They're not. They're manipulative and deceptive. They're fake. They're money and power hungry. And they will deny me, the Christed being, the truth, this land, the law of it, and rights till the end of time and death worship. Okay? And that's what the record's shown over and over again. These are literally people who should be sucking my feet. Essentially, not that I want that or need that. Should they not only not be ignoring me or rebuking me or projecting onto me or lying about me, they should be walking with me in this truth, becoming better people, doing better, securing rights, freedom, and principles for this land and our future, and their stupid fucking bitches and children that they don't actually care about, right? And sucking my feet because I opened up a whole world to them on here that they apparently weren't aware of. Because they all like to say, well, what, really, Paul? Well, tell us more about this. We're going to take the next 10 years to learn. You're not learning. You got cracked over the fucking head with eternal truth. You now know what needs to be done. The concepts have been proven by me and others. We're waiting on you, juniors. And you know what? Most likely the time's never going to come. The coming of age story, the actualization, realization campaign is never going to come. You know why? Because the bitches keep showing up and giving them some kind of attention and play. Because people keep giving them some kind of money, non-money, because 300 to 1,000 people show up every day to watch them bullshit in front of everyone's face and dupe delight on everyone, thinking they're so nice, kind, and polite. No, that's what that is. Every time you go watch Brian and DeCastro and Slack and all these people, they always sit there with this grin on And this countenance, like they're in on something you're not in on. They know something you don't. Yeah, no kidding. We know what it is. Some of us know what it is. Why you're giggling and laughing and duping, delighting on everyone, because you're pulling the wool, you think, over everyone's eyes. And for those of us who can see you for who and what you are, because we know ourselves, well, you just X us out and act like we don't exist. And life goes on, right? So you think. That's not how this works. They just burned down LA last night. Did anybody catch that, by the way? All you fucking clowns who want to sit on here and tell, Paulie boy, why do you hate on us? Why are you so mean to us and ask us to join you getting land and farming and having community so you don't wind up burned the fuck up in a soon-to-be smart city or superhighway? NAFTA? Yeah. I wonder how many today are fucking crying and whining. I wonder how many of your goofball family, dupes and rubes. You act like dupes and rubes to weaponize your incompetence, but you're truly incompetent. So I don't know why you do that. Like, you could just be yourself. Except you're incompetent and incapable. You don't have to like pretend to be a dupe and a rube. Most of you are. They're all calling everyone today. I'm hearing everyone calling everyone. And then the people with me have to go, what do you think we've been doing for the last 5 years, decade? Right? The buddy I'm with today working on the truck, he goes, my whole family's calling me. They're all calling. Our house is all burnt down. Our house is all burnt down. Who could have seen this coming? He goes, I told you this 5 and 10 years ago to get the fuck out of there because big things are coming. Well, we didn't know it. No, you knew. We told you. You didn't listen. And now you're going to cry about it. And you're going to beg your government, like always, to give you shit. Whose fault is it? Over and over again. Whose fault is it that most of these people can't fucking see or understand or know history or have any kind of intuition or instinct or common fucking sense? Whose fault is it exactly? And then why is it when the obvious, inevitable, invariable happens, that always happens, you cry and act like it's a surprise when motherfuckers around you've been telling you this whole time? And it's going to continue. And I'm not saying I'm not subject to it. It's because I am subject to it that I can talk about what we could be doing, should be doing, aren't doing, and are doing, some of us, I guess, and not. So, wasn't a surprise. The gematria is not going to save you. Your bitch-ass non-immunity online of fake-ass motherfuckers who give you shit's not going to save you. What's going to save you is you helping yourself and doing the next right thing and sacrificing and dealing with consequences and living within your means and getting debt-free and focusing the rest of your life on serving truth and the people in God and indirectly serving yourself. How about that? Whenever you guys are ready, I guess some more big cities are going to have to burn down. I guess inflation's going to have to go through the roof. I guess you fuck slaves are going to have a myriad of codes put onto you to take all your rights before you finally decide to rouse yourselves, because all the woke folks are so woke and awake, but they haven't done a motherfucking thing different yet, except get online and cry about it for funds and go to court and look pathetic. Waiting. We're all waiting here. There's a whole community over here, folks. Got a guy, Hefe, just got pepper sprayed the other day. He's going to court now. Put him in jail for a couple of days. He's got land. We're all here. There's dozens of folks here who have land, who might potentially open themselves up to some honorable people who want to work in good faith. That's a big if. Trust, equity, and faith, right? We could be doing community right now. Not just me and the people around me. Other folks here. You bitch-ass motherfuckers are too busy pushing cry folds and taking pictures like this for your fucking goofy-ass thumbnail like anybody gives a fuck. You look like a hoe. Most of these males should just shut the fuck up and go work part-time at Family Dollar and let their bitch run the broadcast. Their bitch is more courageous and credible than them, most of them. Imagine the women who have to gut up to fuck these loser failure males every day. Imagine this. Want to have to be them. Wonder why half of them are faking orgasms all day, every day. Because look at who they're fucking. I mean, to be crude, rude, and lewd, but that's the reality of it based in statistics. I think I know whose women are having to fake the orgasms. Over 50% of women never climaxing with their partner. I think I know who the males are. I think I know who the partners are by proxy. Pretty obvious. You have some celebrities that died and still in LA. I don't know what that means. New York is an open air prison. The whole nation and the whole world is an open air prison, sir. Have you not noticed? Guys just say shit. Do you ever stop and fucking think before you say shit and realize the bigger picture ever? New York's an open air prison. The whole world's run by statute, policy, and code and political science at this point. No, it's New York. New York City, I mean. Oh, that makes it so much better. New York City. Do you want to correct the statement now based on what is, or you want to just keep living in your own world? The whole world is an open air prison at this point because they locked it the fuck down for 4 years. Majority listened. Those of us who didn't went to solitary and either got dismissals and sued them or bitched the fuck up, copped out. Right? The whole world's an open air prison, dummy. And it got that way because all of you folks, you saw all the folks who brought me on their broadcast to use me as a guerrilla exhibit. Paulie can rap. He's got some fire. He'll show emotion on camera at times. He'll cry. He shows his heart. He speaks from the heart. We want him because he's everything we're not. Okay, fellas, I'm here. I'm here for the audience. I'm here for the truth. More importantly, I can put on like nobody else. What are we going to do now? Oh, we got to go, Paulie boy. We got other conventions and other things to do. Right. That's why the whole world's an open air fucking prison. Because I can't get more than a handful of you bitch ass motherfuckers to rally to say we're done. Just like when I was at jail. When I was in jail, I said, do you realize there's 50 of us in here right now? And that there's nobody in this whole place that could actually tell us what to do if we all just decided we're going to do whatever we want? And you know what their answer was to me, all of them? Well, yeah, but it's going to be really uncomfortable. And some of us are going to get taken right away from convicts who are watching American Idol and Family Guy. Can't believe what I'm witnessing. Everywhere I go, I can't believe what I'm witnessing. Just how cucked out and gelded and soft most of these motherfuckers are. And when they are hard, quote unquote, I slow state just giggled out there somewhere because he's an obvious homo and doesn't want to cop to it. When they're not soft and they're all too hard, it's for all the wrong reasons. Beating up on each other over nonsense. Imagine a whole fucking race of slaves that just can't fucking get right for themselves or each other and will not work together for what they know is true and what's right. That only leads to every individual's downfall. Imagine this. Passionate, angry, both, honest. I don't know. You decide. Are you mad or passionate? You decide. Am I mad or passionate? What's the difference? Honestly. Let's say I'm mad. What's the difference? Is what I'm saying true or not? Another quality of a bitch. Exactly my point. Thank you, Thunder Twin Force Cats, for proving my point right there. Another quality of a bitch. Even real women don't do this. This is what bitches do. Are you mad or passionate, Paulie boy? Did you hear anything I just said? Is it true or not? Do you care if it's true or not? If it's true, are you going to take it and run with it, goofy bitch? Or are you going to sit here and evaluate what my tone and emotion is so you can decide if you like it or not? That's my point. You just made it for me. And every single one of these people as well has this same issue as well. And there's 15 more of them who we met on here. There's 50 more of them we've met on here. Don't listen to what I say. Don't walk in the truth. Don't uphold what's true and what's right. But sit around like bitches deciding, is my tone mad today or is it passionate? It's interesting. It's entertaining. It's real. It's honorable. It's good faith. And it's accurate. It's all you need to know. Don't worry about whether I'm mad or passionate or not. You deciding whether you're going to suck my dick tonight? Are you mad or passionate? Because we want to put that dick in our mouth if it's passionate. Is that what you're doing? Like a bitch? Men don't do this. Men don't sit around and evaluate other men's tone and emotions to decide if they're going to take the fucking truth or not, or recognize the truth or not, or verify the truth or not. Men don't do that. That's what bitches do. Women don't even do that. And that's exactly my point. A whole 3 to 5 or more generations of bitched up males who act like a bunch of bitches and hoes That's why we are where we are. Weak men create hard times. Strong men create good times. Where do you think we're at right now, folks? If you had to guess. How can Zach or these grifters start a community if they can't even change a car tire, please? Community. Who's going to follow these people? Who's going to walk with these people? Who's going to trust these people? You kidding? Oh yeah, we're in a community with these clowns that we've met on these panels, right? We're in a community now on the ground. Two people just got arrested, like Paulie does every 6 months. What do you think's going to happen? Take a guess on what's going to happen. They're going to fold like a fucking cheap card table, and they're going to start lying on record to do anything and everything they got to do to get the fuck out of trouble, like a bitch does. But we got a community, right? We're doing activism. We're trying to spread the word. Your boy's got the chimpanzee coke mouth. We're trying to spread the word on the corner of New York City at the 9/11 memorial about the numbers and about the New World Order and what you're not going to do about it because you're a bitch. And how many people have walked with you and made a change? 0. Right. You can't figure out why that is? Of course you can. That's why you tried to come and get me to do the next fucking hearing over there, to do the next meet over there. Let's go to the docket. I'm going to get the hell out of here. But you got what you wanted. I knew you wanted to fire me up and start me up. It doesn't take much. I'm willing to give you guys what you want. You know that. It's another thing you get here you don't get everywhere else. I'm willing to give the people what they want at times. I am a female. Well, there you go. Well, then that makes sense. Right? To some degree, then I'm not saying that women are inferior in that sense. I have to then back off because if you're a female, as you say, you most likely didn't have a daddy. You weren't raised right. So it's not really completely your fault. And the more that you spend some time around some real men, whoever you're intuiting that is, the more you'll start to realize a little bit more about what's gone on in your past, what's going on right now, and what needs to happen in the future. So I presumed you were a male. I don't necessarily follow the scripture in the sense of milk for the men, meat for the men and milk for the women and babes. But my perspective changes a little bit in the sense of, are women still accountable and responsible? Yes. Are they still able to be courageous and uphold the law? Yes. Are they able to exercise rights? Yes. Sometimes better than men and with better results at court. Because they're not criminalized as much, because folks are not as harsh on them historically, you know. But I tend to lighten the load a little bit because really, you know, it's not that they shouldn't have to. We all have to based on our walk with God and the truth. But women shouldn't have to put extra effort in to do and be what their men aren't, is my point. So when I realized that the majority of females who don't know any better or can't like get something going, a big reason for that is because the system hasn't worked of life the way it's supposed to. See, we're back. All things are pimping and hoeing. We just don't know. We're back to that idea that it takes a strong man who understands himself. It's not necessarily that has to be a man, but typically this is how it goes, right? A man's logic or understanding of self by going out into the world and having to fight battles, either physical or metaphysical, gives him an understanding at times he can bring back to a woman to change her perspective. And I'm sure a woman has a way of changing a man's perspective as well in various ways. I'm speaking on this dynamic specifically right now. So I tend to go, okay, and it may be a bit of my ego because I presume that, hey, if a woman hasn't been raised properly by her daddy because she's never known a man, all she's been around is inauthentic corporate males who've been lying to her and on her, playing games, well, then she has an opportunity if she meets someone like myself who will be honest and straightforward and real and talk about some things the others won't. She may have an opportunity for a level up. And I think that that's precisely what was supposed to happen with their fathers. That didn't happen. They never got the level up because they never had a real man to talk to them about life on life's terms, not life on everybody's feelers' terms, to get everybody right, right? That's what wisdom is there for. That's what greatness is there for when recognized. And of course, that comes through the revelation of having a godly experience to some degree, if you want to call it that. Well, there you go. I want to learn. Right. I can't teach you anything. I can't actually teach anyone anything. If you've noticed the past 3 years, some folks on here, we won't name names, the unnamed one and others can't be taught. I've attempted to teach them over and over again, not only by verbal instruction, but by on the ground actions and results. They refuse to be taught, or they're unable to be taught. So can you ever actually really teach anyone? No. All you can do is show yourself and others who and what you are by what you say and what you do, and then allow people to take that lead or not. You know, and that's how most of the teaching is done. It's indirect. Most of the teaching is done by not teaching. It's done by living and experiencing and showing and telling. And then you get it or you don't. You walk with it or you don't. You get the revelation or you don't. You attract what's meant for you, you don't. I didn't have a dad. Well, there you go. Is it always a coincidence here, folks? Am I always pulling the rabbit out of the hat accidentally? Did I, you know, was I cheating somewhere? It's never a coincidence. There is no such thing as coincidence the majority of the time. We're all doing certain things for a reason. What we're experiencing is happening for a reason. If you can pinpoint and understand the centralized attractor force, right, of self and life, that puts you ahead of the game, so to speak. So it's like, it's no wonder to me that I open this portal here, call it proper instruction motivates people, and guess who and what shows up 9 out of 10 times. Oneself on the highest level, on the lowest level, the only gap is perspective, understanding, application, and results. How many times have I been saying that? Oh, and an admittance or admission of the problem rather than identification with the problem. That's the biggest one, the discernment, right? Because they're all coming here for the same reason, but when you try to tell most of them that, they don't know why they're here, and they think you're projecting, and they get mad at you. Paul, you don't tell me about who and what I am in my life. Well, is it true or is it not? You didn't say it wasn't true. You just don't like being told the truth without someone sitting around with you and walking around and spending time with you so you can feel comfortable enough to admit reality. That's all that is. But it's not a coincidence. It's not an accident. It's not random. Everything's happening for a reason. And folks are brought here to get a different perspective and level up with it every single time. And 80 to 90% of them go, this guy's a nut. He's a wannabe guru. He's narking on us. He's trying to use us. Use you for what exactly? I'll wait. Use you for what exactly? You know, contrary to popular opinion, or I guess unpopular opinion, doing what I started doing after a certain point didn't make me more likable, didn't make me more reachable, didn't make me more money, didn't get me more numbers, none of that. Doing what I started doing at a certain point, I knew was going to actually detract from whatever I was getting and doing and being in the world for other reasons, right? To stay true to myself and to work on my work here and work with what I'm interested and empowered, inspired, and fascinated by. So don't think that I'm not smart enough to know, like Whack Hubbard and the rest of them, how to grift if I wanted to. So when I opened certain doors, I knew what I was going to meet and face. I knew what I was going to potentially have to give up to get back, like the scripture outlines. And I'm doing it for the right reasons, because I really do believe in this understanding and these synchronicities and these co-creative connections and gaining an understanding through experience that changes one's life and trajectory. To me, that's like all that we have here. That's all I have here. You know, the rest is extras. It's the art of living. It's the spiritual faith. It's the principles and values. The rest is extras. They come on for the extras and forget the first things first, the core. I'm a single father raising 2 daughters, and the school is trying to alter them, lying to them. Why are you sending your property to somewhere else to be housed half the day? And then you're going to tell me because you picked a dumb bitch or you are the dumb bitch. It's the same story every time. And you don't have a community or family. So you don't somehow have a bunch of people around or some people around to share responsibilities because the masters have just run a train on most people. It's the bottom line. So, like, instead of you bitching and crying and pointing a finger at the school, why don't you point it at where the fuck it all started from? You. You and your lack of dick control. You and your lack of discernment. You and your willingness to attach to Jezebel harlot hoes and fuck over another generation. You who want to send your own progeny to a fucking public fool system to be indoctrinated. You who want to get on here and make a victim out of yourself and make them the perpetrator when it's you who did it all. Take some fucking accountability, responsibility. That'll be the day you grow the fuck up and level up. Grown fucking people. You imagine this shit? You imagine going back 200 years ago, 1,000 years ago, and having grown fucking people talk this bullshit that doesn't amount to nothing from their feelers and false authority? Can you imagine this? Only because of a ridiculous medical system and ridiculous clergy church system and ridiculous political science system are any of these people even still alive. You're so fucking weak and duped out and devoid of any kind of survival intuition and instincts. It's only because of this system that just keeps every candy ass watered down genetic expression of consciousness alive that you folks are even here right now bitching and complaining and victimizing. 1,000 years ago, you wouldn't even exist because there's no fucking tribe on the land that's going to have this garbage and listen to it. They're either going to kill you or exile you for being a fucking burden and a liability. Was I being mean and rude and harsh there? Yeah, because in the real world, in a community, in a tribe, you're not going to threaten everybody else's livelihood and survival because you want to act like a dumb bitch. Go do it somewhere else. Go do it where everyone else doesn't have to give you shit to keep you going. How about that? Beyond fascinating. Get a fucking life, get your head out of your ass, take some fucking accountability, responsibility, be a motherfucking man, and show your daughter something other than the usual simp trick that they've been looking at all around this fucking creation. Seemingly from the beginning of time. Some statist, fascist, weak, cowardly, half-ass simp trick. Another guy who's going to pop out 2 daughters to raise them to fuck some loser just like him and carry on the cycle. Make sure you vote and pay the slave tax while you cry about what the public fool system is doing that you asked them to do for you, that you can't do or won't do for your motherfucking self. Questions on any of that? Questions, comments, concerns? I'll throw a link. Why not? You bitch-ass motherfuckers won't take the opportunity to do some fucking work here today. On yourselves, with me, with the audience. You just want a sounding board. You want a place to come to and have your secondary fake-ass family online to replicate the same one you got in life. Pad your feelers. Tell you it's going to be all right. Ignore reality and the truth. There's a place for that. It's called Slatcott's Bar and Grill. It's down the hall to the left. Once you get to where you smell what smells like a hobo, a greasy hobo who's starting to smell like old death. You know, once you smell the lack of value and power and understanding, once you start to smell the delusion and denial, you'll know you're there, okay? Not here, not the place. You're going to get the real here, you're going to get the truth here, you're going to get inspiration and empowerment to do the next right thing, or you ain't going to be here for long. And I like it that way. After the mental and spiritual workout watching Paulie, will be time to do some cardio. Body, mind, soul, gotta stay fit. Paul, the fastest paying off based on how you look. Salute. Thank you, sir. I do look rather pretty today, don't I? Rather easy on the eyes today. All right. Maybe docket? Do we want to go to the docket? We're already an hour and 10 in, just straight up audience interaction. Another thing you're not going to get other places with the bitch ass beta males, direct audience engagement. They only talk about what they want to see and talk about. They won't address everybody. They won't have direct audience engagement. They only use the audience. Hey, I'm going to put a link down. Come up on panel and cry to me and act like a bitch so we can kill some time. And I can act like I'm a man of the people. Oh, you're a man. You're men of the people, all right. Just like all the people that we see, the persons. Lying, crying, bitching, projecting, ignoring reality. Oh, you're a man of the people, all right. See, I'm at the point now. I'm not a man of the people no more. I'm a man for the people. See the difference? And you can call that arrogant. You can call that prideful and all the rest of it. No, I recognize my position. I'm not a man of the majority of these people at this point, based on how I'm living, what I'm doing, and what I'm not doing. I'm a man for the people. I'm a man that these slaves can look to, like Maximus in the arena, and say, you know what, Paulie boy's on to something there. We feel in us what we see in him. We know we're one and the same. We're going to do something different about our life. That's all this is. And a little bit of pizzazz in between, right? A little bit of theatrics. I play it up a little bit. Probably wouldn't talk like this if we were at the diner. I know how to act. I just choose not to. Or I know how to act and I choose to, I guess. Would be a better way to put it. The phrases that we use in these cultures and societies. Do you know how to act? Yeah. Does that change the reality behind the acting or the theatrics? Playing it up a little bit, being a bit expounded, enunciating, being inspiring, empowered, compassionate, or mad, as the being asked me earlier. It's the fast. I thought it was a fresh haircut. It's all of it. It's New Year, New Me. It's we're going to Oregon. It's we're getting land. It's we're doing activism. It's we got court in February. It's I'm choosing to live. It's, I could go on. I'm tightening my shit up. I got people in my life who I respect, who respect me, who we have a valuable, empowering thing going on, and we're going to take it to the next level. It's all that and more. It's God. You really want to get down to it? You want to get down to the experience? Because I'm talking about an experience. I'm not talking about some guy in the sky. I appreciate you're mad, not just passionate. All right, that was that woman. I just realized I thought it was a guy before. That was the same woman. Okay, I'm onto it. I'm getting it. All right, let's get to the doc a little bit. We got to do something here that resembles a broadcast instead of me just ranting and raging and semi-preaching. Or just venting, I guess. I went to public school and it's very similar to jail. Yeah, we went over this just before when you said New York's a jail, and I said the whole world is to a degree if you let it be. The whole world's a proving ground if you let it be. Remember I said that earlier? We talked already, right? Okay. Los Angeles begins to face apocalyptic devastation as wildfires continue to burn, and it's all wildfires. There's 4 of them. They're on opposite sides. They're like one up here, one over there, one down there, one there, but they're all wildfires. 4 fires started at the same time. They're burning down everything and nothing to see here, right? I love it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it and putting it in these slaves' faces till they finally come out and be the conspiracy theorists out in the open. Yeah, the vaccine's bad. Yeah, the water's poison. Yeah, they're poisoning the sky. Yeah, they're burning shit down. Then they're going to flood it. Then they're going to install 5G fiber optic. Then they're going to do smart city. Then they're going to bring in Bitcoin. Then they're going to track and trace your bitch ass all up and down this continent. Now what? Or we could just deny it because Paulie's crazy. He's on the good weed again. He's lost himself down a rabbit hole of theory. We'll see. We're going to see, aren't we? Can't make this shit up. Let's go to the clips.
NewsHour. Firefighters continue to battle multiple major fires today in Los Angeles, with much of the county under a red flag warning. At least 5 people have been killed. A number officials expect to rise, and 180,000 people are currently under evacuation orders.
The fires that started on Tuesday are now among the most destructive in California state history. More than 2,000 buildings and structures have already been destroyed. Stephanie Tsai is on the ground and has this report.
This is your street.
This is it. The scenes along 86-year-old Roosevelt Pullum's Altadena Street were apocalyptic as we drove him back to his house today. The sight of its remains overwhelmed him. He recalled where he was when the flames started approaching. working on one of his cars.
This was my lady.
That house was home for nearly 40 years.
That was my peach tree.
As the sun rose this morning over Los Angeles, thick smoke filled the air and the scale of devastation became clear.
Good morning, Robert.
Today,
Luna,
Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna said the damage was catastrophic.
Some of them look like a bomb was dropped in them, where we will be able to bring in canines and other things to help us hopefully not discover too many fatalities. That's our prayer.
Wind subsided enough Wednesday and overnight to allow firefighters to attack from the sky, dropping water and retardant in the burning hills and mountains.
Or they dropped citizens on the fire? They dropped retardant?
But dangerous wildfires continue to burn across LA County.
Let me just say that
today, the city's mayor, Karen Bass, responded to criticism that fire.
Yeah, maybe we'll get back to it. I have to address this other person, for lack of a better term. I have some other terms, but I'll try to keep it, politically correct. I'll try to keep it nice, kind, and polite as much as possible. You folks thrive on that. Bear Jew, this guy's totally shocked. This grown man has 2 children, can't figure out how life works on any level. Believe this? This is who's running around out there. This is who's in the car doing 75 next to you on the fucking highway. You believe this? How there's not... You want to talk about the experience of God in the sense of, like they say, cliche, God protects babies and fools. I'm the type of person, I go like I think everyone else is like that because they go, Paulie, boy, you're going to travel without license, registration, insurance. That's crazy. And I go, I know. I'm actually like on board with them because I'm shocked every day that I go places and I actually make it there and I make it home. I go, with these fucking slaves that I see, so many of them, how retarded they are. I can't imagine how everyone gets to wherever they're going every day and there's not catastrophic damage from the cars. Just everyone moving so fast, having such a heavy vehicle, having to like be aware and look and turn. And it's like, oh my God, these are overachievers, these folks. How there's not 15 fucking accidents all up and down the highway, just constantly every day it's amazing to me. It really is. But he can't figure out how a single father could you, okay. Hey, Jason Jeffords III. I want you to try to imagine, okay? Get the imagination cap out. Where's my imagination cap? I got one around here somewhere. There it is. I knew I had one around here somewhere. Get the imagination cap out, okay? Let's imagine, if you will, quickly. Imagine, let's just go back maybe even, how long you want to go back? 100 years? Let's go back 100 years. It's not a long time, relatively, in the scheme of things. Let's go back 100 years to when folks had a thing called a family before everyone got money hungry, power hungry, selfish, satanic, completely worldly, devoid of principles and values, co-creation and communication. My father, pretty much, and his whole family and line of family. Let's go back to 100 years ago, relatively short time ago, where people had this thing called a family. Because they were honorable and good faith and communicative and co-creative. And even if everybody had some fucked up qualities, we made it work because we weren't completely full of shit and retarded. Those days are gone, sir. So if you're asking how a single father tard would raise a child and homeschool, it'd be a thing called a family. Something most of you know nothing about and don't wish to know anything about. And then come here and ask stupid fucking questions that you could answer yourself if you would just research, ask around town, go find someone who's 80 or 90 fucking years old and ask them. Why are you asking me? I'm just a 35-year-old tard in a trailer gorilla, Dunning-Kruger wannabe lawyer who never gets results if you ask the Latuna creature and the rest of them. By the way, this is my imagination cap. If some new folks came in and are wondering, I had to put on my imagination cap to answer this guy how you would raise a child without sending them to a jail cell institution every day. They can't figure it out. Incredible. Literally incredible. People who just have no credibility. And he asks it with such dripping sort of sarcasm and arrogance. Well, why don't you tell us all about the solutions? How would we raise children without institutions? I don't know. What did they do for thousands of years? Fuck not. It's called take some actual accountability and responsibility and have a family. Whenever you're ready, how many more times do you need to hear it before it's going to sink in to that fluoride-soaked brain of yours? Anyone? Questions, comments, concerns, thoughts? Did he respond yet? I didn't look. Did he have an answer? He didn't respond yet. Yeah, he's doubled over from shock. He's fucking doubled over from shock because I said, oh, you have a family. You have a community, right? You have other men and women in your life who, while you're chasing fiat notes, being someone's bitch slave for a paltry minimum while you sell your soul, we leave Junior with the other men and women to help raise him and teach him. God forbid. Not me. Paulie Boy's like crazy. He's wild. He curses. He thinks that adults, humans in general, like have different aspects of themselves, and that's scary. Like he's a sexual creature. Let's demonize him. Let's make him a deviant. Let's project onto him. So definitely not me. I'm not saying like leave your children with me, like Snafu Slave says. Contrary to unpopular belief, I don't want your children. Quite frankly, I'd do better with them because I can figure out I can figure out somehow, some way how you raise children without an institution. So maybe they're better off with me. I don't want them. But you, wherever you are on the ground with whoever's around you, should maybe start thinking about having community and family. I don't know, just a thought. If you're ready. And maybe you can sit around with them and ask them all your questions on how life works. Maybe you can brainstorm. You can put on your imagination cap like this beauty right here. You can put your imagination cap on like this, and you can get down to some real reality, some real solutions. I think if we get about 6 to 8 to 10 of you tards in a room to ask this question, you might be able to bump your heads together enough to finally come up with an answer. We get enough friction on the cabeza, la friccione and la cabeza. I can even tell you in multiple languages. It's how dynamic I am. Okay? I might have to start merchandising this. The fucking imagination thinking cap. High level technology right here. Did you notice as soon as I put this fucking thinking cap on, this imagination cap, that like I just shot through the roof with consciousness and awareness and co-creative common sense solutions? I'm like a regular Elon Musk out here. Okay? I'm way underpaid, people. I think we all see that. I think we all know that. Okay, that's enough for. I don't want to scare the children, and I don't want to fucking just explode these slaves' brains with just over the top common sense solutions that they couldn't think of on their own. Got to take the hat off, because if I keep that on, I'm going to keep talking so much truth and common sense. These people are going to be doubled over in shock. Did he answer? Did we get an answer from him? What's the mechanism? Believe this? What's the mechanism to raise a child without an institution, Paul? I'd love to hear your answer. Yeah, see? Imagination cap got my juices flowing. I told you. Act like I'm not onto something over here. It's crazy. How do you deny what's happening over here? Irrefutable. Is that Wigger calling us slaves? Where does this Wigger thing come out of? I'm East Coast Irish and Italian. The Negroes all bit off our culture, dummy. We were the first gangsters. We were the first fast talkers. We were the first people to walk our talk. We were the first people. You're confused again. You got it backwards. See? All the weak-ass, bitch-ass, broken-souled white people that you meet, you think that I'm a Wigger because you think that's what being Irish and Italian is. You think that's what being white is. So you need to get your shit together, right? You need to remember how it actually works. It's all the black folks and the rappers who tried to appropriate our culture. The Irish, the Italians, the Jews. Believe it or not, the Jews were the original ones in organized street activity and crime. Not glorifying that. I'm just saying, you're telling me I'm a wigger because I talk and walk and act like something you've seen black people do on TV. It's called having soul and spirit. It's called being a fucking man. It's called not being a lukewarm white bitch. So I must be a wigger, right? Because I got soul and spirit and I can fucking talk. No shortage of dunces as always on YouTube. Nothing wrong with being a slave. Well, if you like it, I love it. Speak for yourself. What again is a wigger? Well, that's their term, right? That's their term, right? They don't want to say it the way they really want to say it because they don't have the balls to say it, but they're saying I'm a wannabe nigger, right? That's what they're saying. They're saying I'm acting black because I speak with a certain cadence, because I have some flavor and some soul, right? Because I say bitch ass motherfucker and things like that. No, I'm just East Coast, just a New Yorker. You know, we this is how we talk and how we live and how we act to some degree. It's really got nothing to do with color. We all came up together, so there's no acting like anybody else. Everybody's, I guess, acting like a New Yorker. Who's we? I thought you were an individual. I don't know what that means. We? Oh, when I said like we, this is how we talk. Like some of us who are from New York, color aside, this is how we live and act and talk. So because I'm an individual, I can't recognize connections. Another dunce. Man, there's no shortage of dunces here today. Man, it's every day. Why am I saying today? It's every day here. All right, we got it. I'm just going to go to the docket because you fucking slaves are insufferable. As much as I'd like to have the back and forths and direct engagement and, you know, loop the same garbage with you folks while you play gotcha games and then lose because you make no sense. So I can't be an individual on some level and have personal choice and also recognize on a higher level there's connection in everything and everyone. And there's sort of relativity and relatable dynamics, right? Because everything in your chimpanzee experience has to be this or that, right? And so it has to be that way for me also, right? Oops. Low IQ activities, sir. All that wigger term indicates I grew up in Jamaica, Queens. I was called that too. Well, that's precisely the point. They don't know it, but most of these people have very low IQ. They're very low conscious and awareness. And they're very boring people as well. Nothing like, you know, it's a bad combination to be boring and stupid. And weak. You know, there used to be a song, if you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough. Boring, stupid, and weak. Bad way to go through life. Just saying. But I enjoy this as much as people would think that I'm mad about it and don't like it and even throw people out at times. On some level, I entertain this. I open the door to it. You know, I engage with it. So I must like it or enjoy it or just be neutral about it. Be willing to experience it and interact with it. All right, let's finish this up here. Let's see more of the pictures. Just wind, wildfires, nothing to see here. Totally not directed energy. Totally not set up. Totally not.
Deal with this type of massive devastation, and that the number one problem, especially, was the fact that we weren't able to do the air support because of the winds. And so, of course, I am absolutely frustrated by that.
Los Angeles Fire Chief Kristen Crowley said extreme fire behavior is still possible.
Today, it is absolutely imperative that as we move into day 3 of this firestorm, all members of our Los Angeles community maintain vigilance.
A new fire Wednesday in the Hollywood Hills
reading a
forced more
speech.
mandatory evacuations.
You're horribly reading a
may-
speech that's supposed to be inspiring and empowering. What does it say? We, the public service agents of Pasadena and LA County, are going to remain very vigilant. Yeah, vigilant, it says. Yeah, great stuff. And we're totally buying it. It's totally believable.
Headway with the blaze and the order
Incredible.
was later
Incredible.
lifted.
There it is again.
Today, President Biden addressed the fires from
Oh,
Washington.
great.
I also want everyone in Southern California to know we're going to keep at it. We're sticking.
I'm
with
sure
it.
you are.
We're going to continue to sending everything, literally every resource we can find.
Yeah.
That's appropriate. Tell the governor and the first responders.
In Pasadena, the convention center has become a clearinghouse of calamity. This is where hundreds of evacuees of the Eaton fire ended up when they had nowhere else to go.
As far as I know, my house is totally engulfed based on the fact that on both ends of the streets, both of the houses were on fire.
Nakia Rhodes and her 2 daughters among them. They had little time to flee and no warning.
I could see flames rolling down the hill.
Donnie Al, you're not supposed to point stuff like that out.
Left. I could see them
You're
going right.
theorizing again.
I've seen everything the wind was doing to the fire. And I'm wondering, why isn't anyone telling us to evacuate? You know,
It sounds like you have reason for some.
I'm wondering why all you slaves do evacuate when you're told, instead of preparing for fires and fighting them. And I know it's all just a big coincidence and accident too, that 4 fires started on the windiest fucking day in history. We're just going to ignore that. God, they literally could do anything, and these people will just say shit and repeat shit. I'll never stop being fascinated by that. My house is engulfed. 4 wildfires started on the windiest day in history, and all of LA's burning down, where they're going to put a smart city or a superhighway. Oh man. Maybe the 15, I'm starting to think after the fire and the wind, maybe the 15 boosters weren't for my safety. I don't know. You know what it's, these people, I was going to ask, you know what it's like? Of course you know what it's like. That's why you're here. The people who come to this broadcast can see reality, and they live life on life's terms. Or they see reality and they avoid life on life's terms, but they can see it at least, albeit. So, let me not even, play the victim here. Because I was going to ask this audience, you know what it's like to be able to see things constantly and be surrounded by people who can't? You know how frustrating that is? So imagine you're the only one with eyes and the rest of the world is blind predominantly. 95% of the world is patently blind. And you can see. You know what it would be like to communicate all day, every day to a group of blind people who you say something and then they ask you another question because they just can't see any of it? They go, what's it look like, Paulie boy? Tell us, how do you raise a family? And I go, you can't see that? 4 wildfires in the windiest day ever. Tell us about it, Paulie boy. You can't see that? No, we're all blind. We're all completely blind. We don't know what's happening. Well, if you ask Queen Sleazen, you're in hell. How about that? That's the best I could do for you. Nothing else seems to be taken and working. So we're gonna boil this down, make it simple, and call it a night. I got a channel. It's called Queen Sleazen, and you're gonna go over there, and he's gonna tell you what's happening because you can't see. You're in hell. You don't know you're creating it, but that's what's happening, essentially. All right, let's just move on. We'll go to the epic ID refusal, as it's called. Tyrant dumb cops get put in their place. Unlawful orders 2 days ago. There's no shortage of these, huh? Copping out, audit, non-audit.
No, you need to talk to him. I don't got nothing to say.
Well, that's our job. So
I understand your job.
Okay.
Again,
It's our job to be slaves, sir. We get paid to do it.
So you don't want to tell us what happened?
I don't have a story. I don't tell stories.
So that you cut him off?
I did not cut nobody off. Again, ask him. We're in a fucking drive-thru at McDonald's. It's not that goddamn serious. So, Carrie, that's what I'm telling you. And if you want to make a big deal out of nothing, that's on him. I'm not frustrated.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. That's why I'm driving away.
Okay. Do you have your license on you?
Yeah, but you don't need it.
Yeah, we absolutely do, sir.
You got to mess up.
You are involved in investigation?
No, I'll go investigate. No, you don't. I didn't do nothing. I didn't commit a crime.
Absolutely.
Negative.
Yes, absolutely.
That's a negative, man. You're not going to get it.
Please don't interfere with the investigation.
Hey.
He's going to have to put you in jail.
Jake, get a jail.
Well, I mean, that's the thing.
No te bajes. No te bajes. No te bajes. No te bajes.
There is no investigation.
No te bajes.
Listen.
No te bajes.
Listen. I'll go to jail because you're going to violate my rights. You are. My First and my Fourth Amendment rights. You understand?
Listen.
Because he's trying to take me to jail over not identifying myself.
Yes,
Your body cam's on?
Absolutely.
I don't see the red light on yours. Is it on?
So
Okay.
listen,
Make sure you got it. I will sue the shit out of you.
Let me explain.
If you motherfuckers are going to keep doing this, could you just do Uncle Paulie boy one favor and stop fucking quoting amendments for where you get your rights, dummy? You're not doing yourself any favor. It's called natural rights. Supreme Court has outlined it. Man is only subject to natural rights. You don't have a First and Fourth Amendment right. You have natural rights and a contract that codifies on some level, at least in the beginning, a protection of those rights till they amended it. So if you're going to quote 1 and 4, quote 11 through 14 too, dumbass. That says congressional citizen, because that's most likely what you signed up to be, whether you know it or not. Confederacy of dunces from left to right. Don't even give a fuck about the words and terms, who and what they are, what God is and experience is, where they get their fucking rights, and how to not give them away by appealing to some document you're not a party to, some contract.
I will sue the shit out of you guys. There is no crime committed. There is no crime committed. No, because there's no crime committed. You understand? I don't need to give you my ID. I didn't do nothing. There's no crime committed. Yep, no problem. 2 minutes. No problem.
Really?
Yep.
Are you serious?
Just don't stop recording.
We're gonna get the reason for why he's being.
We're gonna sue him. I need your supervisor. I need your supervisor. Don't stop recording.
Hey, it's gonna be tight.
I can't. Okay. Can you go down? Get the supervisor right here. Don't stop recording. Yes, ma'am. You want to live my life? I'm going to sue the shit out of you. What's your name and badge? No, sir. There's no crime committed. So is that a misdemeanor or a felony? Is that a misdemeanor or a felony? Is that a misdemeanor or a felony? I don't care. There's no investigation. Your investigation starts there.
Right.
What's your name and badge number for the record?
Hey, it's Officer Carmen 77.
Officer Bailey. Thank you.
Are you
No, I'm not. I'm your supervisor. I want to say a damn word to you guys. Okay. And I'm going to sue the shit out of the city of Floyd City.
Okay.
Not a problem. Not a problem. And then it's and I don't convince, I don't search and seizures, okay? So remember that for the record.
Okay.
I've been waiting for this. I don't answer questions.
Okay. You don't have anything on
I don't answer questions. I don't answer questions. Okay. What part of that don't you not understand?
Okay.
I'm gonna sue the shit out of you guys. I've been waiting for this. I watch all these First Amendment videos, and this is what I've been waiting for. I got you, okay? I don't gotta do shit. Go investigate. You don't need my fucking license for what? You don't need to identify me for shit. I didn't do nothing. That's not a crime. We don't know that. No, there's no crime. There's no. What's the crime? What is a crime? What are they calling for? Disturbance. Of what kind of disturbance?
His deeds is it. He's
A
just
what?
bugging.
A what? That's verbal. I mean, that's not physical. There's no crime. I'm trying to.
So you're being overly aggressive.
No, because you guys don't need my fucking ID. What part of that don't you fucking understand? God damn, you guys are fucking stupider than I thought. I want you to tell them something. That man tried to argue with his daughter in his car, and they told him to shut the fuck up and back and there's something wrong.
And that's fucking crazy. Why is he still sitting over there all free when he's the one that caused the disturbance?
Okay, listen, I'm gonna explain. Will you let me explain it to you without you? Huh? I'm not questioning you. I'm explaining to you. No, I'm not. So whenever there's a call, listen, just listen to me. So you don't have to go be arguing. I'm listening. And it gets listen, we don't want to take him to jail. We just need him to identify himself. That's it. So whenever we have an investigation, all we do.
It's absolutely ridiculous. They already did an unlawful detainment. You can't do unlawful detainment in order to get rights and not charge somebody. If the cuffs go on, you better charge them. If not, you're extorting him. You're saying, give me your ID when we don't have probable cause, or else. That's a communication of a threat and extortion. Dummy. So absolutely he has a lawsuit. Great. Everyone out there should pray that when you get stopped, that they put you in cuffs like this. You should fucking beg them to and pray. If you understand how to carry yourself through court, unlike DeCastro, who's going to grift off all of you and claim he does, yeah, I do. So at this point, while I don't like it, and it's a bit scary, like it's never going to stop being a little scary, I just go, okay, I'm not dead. I'm going to go to the box. It's going to be 2-3 days max. Even if it's a month, I'm going to have my day at court. And we're going to put the facts on record. And when no one shows up on the other side, it's dismissal city. And now we're going ghetto lottery, boys and girls. Maybe your number will come up. Get a couple $100,000, you know? There's worse ways to spend your time and to monetize your enslavement. Worse ways to sell your soul rather than standing with it and working with it and standing on what's true and what's right and coming up on a bag, right? We ain't bag chasing, but we ain't turning it down either, compensation wise. So you should hope that they fucking stop you and say, we have no crime taking place, but we just want to get your ID and make sure who you are. Nope. What now? You gonna arrest me? Yeah, great. Unlawful detainment. Grounds for a lawsuit. Bam. Just like that. We don't want to take him to jail. We just need him to ID. Okay, who cares? Do whatever you want. It's not going to be forever. Quite the opposite.
Is we gather both parties' IDs, and it's for notes, okay? It's for case notes. That's all we do. That's all we wanted was his information. And then whenever you don't give us your ID, right now he's impeding our investigation. We're unable. So you have to identify yourself. That's a law, okay? So that's what I'm trying to explain to him. We just need his ID to identify him. We don't want to have to take him to jail. It's the last thing we want to do. That's it. Is there a way you could talk to him? We don't want to have to take him to jail. We don't have to take him to jail. No? Do y'all want to tell me what happened?
It started with him.
It's not a crime. That's the thing. Is like you guys arguing with
it started with that man.
Okay. Exactly. I understand. And I understand. So all we were gonna come do is come and diffuse the situation.
You need to talk to him.
Exactly. And we had an
And don't be using decastrated fucking lingo in here. All right. Don't be using decastrated goofy ass lingo, calling all these cops JBTP, jackboot thug pig. If you're gonna do JBDP, I want you to put it in the chat right now. BBWB. If you're gonna do JBTP, I want BBWB. Okay. Beta boy, weak bitch. Right? If they're JBTP, you're BBWB. Beta boy, weak bitch. In chat. Put it in chat for me right now. That describes DeCastro and the rest of them while they want to try to play the victim and call these people whatever. It's real simple. There's always remedy under the law. Just go to the box, get the remedy at court. If you're selling trifolds, you should have that all day, every day, I would think. But if you're not going to do BBWB in chat, please no JBTP. This is not overturn Terry v. Ohio over here and appeal to code and policy and act like a hoe. Do you know where you are right now? I got to ask. All right, I'm just checking.
You're talking to him.
Like I said,
we're just trying to figure out what happened. That's all we're doing is identifying.
Well, he's gonna tell you what happened because he's the one that caused everything.
Okay, so you guys don't. You're failure to ID because you want us to talk to him, but he's already been talked to.
I mean, he's the one. That's who you need to talk to.
Okay, but he's already been talked to.
Well, I don't know what's going on.
We're trying to get your side of the story.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I want to help you.
Okay, so
I want to help you live the life you want to love.
Do you see him? He's doing about 3 or 4 returns while we're just standing in line. That's his issue. So go ahead and get his side of the story.
Yeah, he's the one that got all aggressive.
We don't need a side of the story. We can't do anything. Okay.
All right. He's the one that's, I don't know what's wrong with him.
Damn, did it close?
Calmado.
Don't stop recording.
Calmado. Calmado, yes. Tenemos.
Incident number, and I need everybody's names here.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. So, over here, please.
Yeah, see, there you go. And then they'll say Paulie Boy's hating because I call people out. If that's true, that Tribe is a mod in Chile de Castro's chat after everything that swine scum has not done concerning me, try to play me off and ignore what I'm saying and try to do the passive aggressive, kill him with kindness garbage. Oh, last time I went over there, right, to call his bitch ass out, why he and Brian and others has still never got back to me on the phone because they ran from the truth because they're cowards. And when I show up over there, oh, look, it's Paul Unslave, my old friend. He's in chat. I was never your friend, bitch ass motherfucker. I've said that to you all over and over again, to you in private and in public. I was never your friend. We were friendly because we were supposedly aligned in rights, freedom, principles, spiritual faith. When I detected you were not that and lying to this audience and grifting, you're not my friend. I don't like you. I don't respect you. I will be a part of anything that it takes to destroy your false non-career based on your pride and ego and deception. I will do anything and everything possible to make you have to look back at yourself and get in line with the truth in God. I will be an emissary and facilitator of that till the fucking day I die, and I will not regret it. Okay? So stop the garbage. We were never friends. I don't trust you. I don't respect you. I don't even like you at all. The way you guys look and sound and talk and show up, you know what I'm going to say. I'm not even going to say it again. I said it too much this broadcast. You know what you are, and you know why I don't like you and respect you. I think you're fucking cornballs. That's what they used to say where I come from. Folks who look and talk and act like you and do passive-aggressive, deceptive, lying bullshit are marks and victims, and you get taught a lesson at some point. Okay? So if that's true, and it doesn't surprise me, You know, let's be honest. It doesn't surprise me. Most of these folks are lukewarm and fence riders. They're half-assed. They're never going to do what I do. They're never going to speak to the truth ultimately. They're never going to call people out and themselves out. They're never going to facilitate accountability, responsibility. They're just going to go along to get along. That's why I don't like and respect those people, because you're not oriented toward justice. Fascinating you folks want to talk shit about the cops and the courts when you aren't yourself oriented toward justice. So what would this culture and community and society be exactly with all you bitch-ass beta males who are lukewarm fence riders and aren't oriented toward justice? Where's the prosperity going to be exactly? How's the self-governance going to come along? How's the co-creative governance going to come along? Right. And that's exactly why we have cops and courts, you dumb fucks. Because the majority of you just sit around these people, you get benefits and privileges, you feel like you're part of something, and you go back to your lonely, weak-ass life and lifestyle every day and wonder why you don't feel quite right. Wonder why you don't wake up with a zest for life and why you're not in alignment, why you're not powerful. Because you're a go-along to get along, lukewarm, fence-riding slave, and motherfuckers like that are never inspiring and powerful and interesting and entertaining and in alignment. Quite the opposite. They show up like they're half fucking dead. So, hey, it don't mean nothing to me if you all want to show up at these places and take these fucking badges of dishonor. I'm modding for a loser, low-life, jerk-off grifter. Great. What does that make you? The same way, I was at the laundromat the other day. You want to talk pimping and hoeing? Walked in the laundromat. First of all, I saw this bitch coming through with the pants. I already knew it was up. And I saw some beta male in tow right behind him. So I already know the power dynamic like that. I just look at the pants. I saw a flash of her pants and saw how big her ass was. And part of me was like, I want to go check it out. The other part of me looked at her. I said, this dirty bitch playing her fucking man out. And he's even worse for letting it happen in front of the whole laundromat. You know, she locked eyes with me at one point and gave me one of these like this. You know what that means in pimping language? It means come fuck me, daddy. Because this bitch is a beta male. You don't get no points for that, dumb hoe. You don't get no points for fucking with a beta male and sticking up under him and playing him out and cucking him out and embarrassing him and yourself in front of everybody. You're low value and he's low value. Now what? And quite frankly, even though I lock eyes with these dirty hoes and they give me the sign in one moment that I could have you, I don't want you. You already showed me you ain't with it. You ain't with the pimping. If you were with the proper instruction motivates people, you'd be alone. Or you be with a real one. You wouldn't be some beta male with the broccoli haircut and the goofy fake ass Rolex and the fake ass jewelry waiting to get robbed and then get shot because you want to wear some fake shit. Where I come from, you wear the real shit or you don't wear it. Because when you get a gun put in your face, they're gonna shoot you. If they take that chain off you and it's fake, they're gonna shoot you for making them waste their fucking time. They're gonna shoot you in the ass. Oh, you running around here with fake chains? Made me do a fucking robbery and risk prison time for some fake shit? Now I'm really gonna pop you. So he ain't shit and that bitch ain't shit either because she obviously can see and know and she ain't doing any better. And all the other males around there want to stare at her and give her time and attention while she plays them out, plays herself out, would play them males out too the same way. But they all in their mind think that they got it like that, you know, they're going to change her. I was so in alignment, you know, in that particular moment that day, you know, I was like, she already gave me the move. I already wanted to go look at her big fat ass, but you know what? One, look at her, that dirty bitch's face and the eyes, the windows to the soul and knowing the whole dynamic. I don't even want to look at her. I don't even want to lust for her at that point. Let me not even look at your goofy ass, your big fat ass. Probably smells anyway, like fish. That's how you know you're in alignment. Mid-30s. And I'm on fire at this point. You know, I was half dead and wanting to fuck. So when it comes to testosterone, hormones, whatever, I'm on fire. Still, I'm so in alignment. I don't even want it. Even if I want it, I don't want it. For what? To do what with? To go where? When? Why? How? To what end? Who hurt you? We're going to do this again? Weren't you just here the other day? Another bitch. Men don't do this, bro. Hey, Luigi, men don't do this. If you're a man, I'm guessing you are because you want to free that Italian simp trick. Another dupe, by the way. You're another dupe, obviously, just by your name. We already know who you are. We could start the profile. Just like that. Who hurt you? Who asked that? What man asked another man, who hurt you? Are you my mom? Are you my girlfriend? And then now you want the answer like I gave to the other bitch the other day when he asked me the same question? Pretty much everyone in my life. Now what? Who hurt me? Pretty much everyone in my life up to a certain point disappointed me or directly assaulted me or hurt me in some way. Or if nothing else, was a complete dishonor to the truth in our lineage. So if you're going to ask, I'm going to answer. Now what? You're going to comfort me? You're going to rub my head? Or you're going to do like the bitch did yesterday and give me a throwaway now because you got nowhere to go with it. Let it all out, Paulie boy. Why don't you give me that? Oh, who hurt you? Oh, let it all out. Right, I am. That's why I'm here. I guess I'll ask the same question back to you, beta males. Who didn't hurt you enough to become the man you were meant to be? And you're so okay with accepting less for yourself and letting everybody see you every day do it. You must have not been hurt enough. Truth hurts, like they say. I think I'm done with that cop-out video. Let's go Fleischer. If we saw this, let me know. They're starting to get jumbled nowadays. I don't think we did. And then I think I'm going to check out of here. I was feeling rather complete coming into this. I got to level with you people. I always do. Yeah, that's sounding about right about now. All right, Fleischer in and out.
Pre-trial judge, and I spoke
Yeah, we'll get
with the coordinator. Per pre-trial, he's tested positive presumptively because they have to send him to a lab for confirmatory for alcohol and THC. I think they described his behavior as
threatening.
Well, I didn't get threatening, but
I got threatening. Okay. And I'm going to tell you now, I'm not going to have you, and I'm not going to stand for your threatening anyone in this court at any time. That is, every part of this is an extension of us. I don't care where you're going. I don't care what building you're in, whether you're in pretrial services, whether you're taking a drug test. It's unacceptable, and I'm revoking your bond. And he now goes with you.
Yes, sir. No,
slave him up.
All he's doing is setting the rules that want to follow. Okay.
Yes, sir. What's the name?
Bledsoe. Evading arrest and terroristic threat.
That's another reason, by the way. Despite how I present on this panel or on this broadcast at times, it's another reason why when I go to court, I don't get treated like a slave. Because when I go to the back of the box, I start figuring out how I'm going to serve the truth and be a good person and not decay and degrade while I'm back there. So I didn't like those cops last time. I didn't like what they did to me. But once I was back there in the jail, first of all, the jail people didn't put me there. They may be part of looking over me while I'm there till I go to court. But as soon as I got back there, I said, you know what? I'm going to turn a negative into a positive like I always do. I said, how can I help you guys out around here? I'm going to serve. I'm going to clean. I'm going to organize, do whatever I need to do to keep my mind focused, to be a good person, to serve in some way, to practice faith and forgiveness, right? You guys want to pop shit with the guards, pop shit with the women, with the nurse, act like you're big badass and all the rest of it. Cry and complain half the time. Then by the time you get to court, they get the report. Oh, this the bitch ass motherfucker that was crying half the time back there on the phone, begging people to come get him, telling lies, popping shit to the nurse and everybody else because he's Billy Badass. Oh, we're slaving you, boy. Because a man don't do that. That's the bottom line. A good, honorable man who's in service to God and the truth, who understands co-creation and understands himself, doesn't do that. You know, so I'm not gonna lie. You know, I never do. I tell the whole story. When it came to the cops, I had some choice words for them, and I've been clear about that. Once they put me in a box and everything else and wouldn't look me in the eye, I had some choice words for them because I thought that they were fucking cowards, man to man. You know, we can move past it. I don't have no hate for them. I didn't have any hate for them that day. I thought they were loser, failure, pathetic fucking cowards, and I wanted them to look me in the eye while I tell them and remind them that you will see me again. We will be at court, dummy. You ain't gonna get out of this that easy. Incredible. It's incredible that these people, when they meet me and talk to me and feel my energy, think that I'm like the rest, that I'm a pushover. They're gonna do me like the rest. No, you ain't. I'm gonna be right the fuck out of this box. I'm gonna show you who's got the power and the value, and I'm coming for your ass after. Make it good. And it's all a big joke till it ain't, right? Till them sheriffs, till their buddy showed up with with the service papers, right? Oh, they all got up out of the chair. Hey, how can we here? Take your gun back. Take your ammo back. Take everything. Yeah, I'm sure it is now. Can we help you in any way? How can we serve you? Yeah, well, now you're served with a lawsuit. Soon as they get served, they want to serve. Isn't that interesting? Right? More bitch ass cowardice. You ain't even gonna go to jail, you punk cowards. You're so scared that you got served with some lawsuit paperwork. You started. I would respect you more if you sat in the chair and said, "Big deal, we're going to court now." What the fuck does that mean to me? Citizen slaves are gonna pay the bill. I'd have respected you more. If you're gonna do boss hog, if you're gonna do thug and gangsterism, go all the way with it. I'll respect it more. Soon as their buddies showed up with them papers and said, "You're being served, you're being served, you're being served," they started, we didn't know. Bunch of punk ass fucking cowards. Just like I told the guy outside the sheriff's station, right to his face. Came right out of jail, walked 3 miles up to the road to the sheriff's station, in between walking to the gas station and then telling someone to bring me to my house and then going through my window and paying them back because we work on faith and it always works out. It's crazy how it works out. Walked right over to that thing, right out of jail. 3 days with no food, in the middle of the desert. They kicked me the fuck out with no water. Walked 3 miles to that fucking sheriff's station and knocked on his door. I said, "Come outside." "You threatening me?" I said, "No, come out here because I'm going to tell you to your face you're a bitch and you're going to get sued." What, you thought I was just going to go home? You weren't going to see me again? "Whatever, Mr. Laporta." Yeah, everybody's real nice, kind, and polite while they're doing defalcating, defrauding, sedition, overthrow of the law of the land. Are you kidding me? They have no idea what kind of judgment's coming for these people in this land. You're going to cry about Israel and all the rest of it. It's coming here at some point. Get a fucking clue. It's coming for everybody at this point because everyone's doing the same garbage to the same ends. Don't fucking wake up and start acting like men of God and men of service till someone hands you some fucking paperwork. Give you your walking papers.
He was in custody because he had a pending felony in the 228. So he's bonded out on all. The evading, I think, is 12 yards per the officer.
So I see that on 10/17 of 24, he picks up a felony assault. And 3 days later, he picks up a terroristic threat. And then he picks up an evading arrest. And they give him PR bonds on these cases. Is that what happened? And
he bonded out since his last setting. I didn't check to see if there are PRs or not, Judge. I know that he had to pay money in felony court.
Yeah, it's just
all right. Since Tribe wants to play fucking power games and take me like I'm a fool, then we'll play. Okay. Since you want to insult my intelligence and try to play me, I'll play back. Tribe, are you a mod over at the Castros? You're not gonna care, right? Because ultimately you shouldn't care. You're a grown fucking man. Who gives a fuck? But let me ask you a question. Are you a mod at the Castros? Don't do the whole, why is the chat focusing on Tribe? Focus on the main event, Paulie boy. Please, Tribe. You think you're going to move me? You think you're going to move me playing off what you think my ego is? You still haven't learned, have you, about what this is all about? You all still don't know who and what I am and what I'm doing here. Beyond the fluff and the veneer and the presentment and the character aspects. Just go ahead and answer the question, please, if you're willing. Are you a mod at the Castros? Because if you are, I'm taking it. I don't want anybody who's modding at these other places and playing go along to get along and lukewarm and fence riding. I don't want anybody seeing me giving them responsibilities and thinking that we're somehow I don't want any of it. I don't want it, let alone anyone seeing it and experiencing it. It doesn't look good on me. See, I give a fuck about my reputation and credibility. I give a fuck about the truth. I give a fuck about doing and being what's true and what's right. I'm not. I didn't ask you whether you were addressing me or not. I'm addressing you. You don't need to tell me what's going on and what you're doing and not doing. I can fucking see. I know what's going on. I'm addressing you. Are you a mod at the Castros? Why are you're evading this question and this commentary and deflecting and obfuscating and projecting a little too much for my liking? It proves you're guilty and you don't respect yourself and what you're doing. That's all that proves. Just so you know, I'm pretty good with this stuff. I'm sure you know by now. So you don't even like what you're doing and respect it. That's why you're not copping to it. And that's why you're deflecting and bringing it all about the gossipers. It's not about gossip. It's accountability. Gossip is talking about motherfuckers when they're not around, number one. Gossip is talking about people, what you think they're doing. That's not the same thing as talking to a motherfucker about them when they're in the room about what they've seen them do somewhere else. That's not gossiping. So you're lying now. You're projecting. You're making it something it's not. I addressed you. I'm asking you, are you a mod there? I was a mod there before I knew you. It's common knowledge. I'm not asking what you were. I'm asking, are you now? See why most of you beta males, your women takes half your shit? Because they're tired of doing this with you. Just so you know, when you get to court one day and half your shit's gone and you're sitting there like the thinker pondering, how and why did this happen? Because women get sick and tired of having to ask you little boy, hand in the cookie jar beta males a direct question 10 fucking times to get the answer they already can suspect, intuit, have instinct to know, or just witnessed. Did I say it changed? Another indirect roundabout answer. No, but you phrased it in the past tense, and the implication would be then that you were a mod and it has changed. See why you're an indirect, deflecting, obfuscating, lukewarm, bitch-ass motherfucker? See why women don't respect you? Do you think if you asked me a question like that you get the answer you got from me the same way you just gave it? That's the difference between us. I could show you guys in so many different ways the same idea over and over again. That's why this broadcast works. And you guys think I can't read you and get the truth out of you. And even when I get it out of you, I got to pry it out of you, and you still haven't said it directly because you're a liar, you're a manipulator, you're a deceiver. And you think because you act nice, kind, and polite and don't engage, that people don't read that off of you. They do. So I just helped you here today. I held up a mirror to show you what the rest of us see so you can do and be better. And you can give me your little snippy attitude because I catch you and people like you while you play word games and obfuscate and phrase things a certain way so that the implication is different from what it actually is. That's why your women and children don't respect you. You're just like my father. This is why I, as his child, don't like him and don't respect him. This is why every woman who's ever dated him says he's a loser, lowlife, money or not. Because we all have to ask you guys 10 fucking times a direct question and get 10 different answers before we pull the truth out of you. And even once we get it, it's still obfuscated and not direct. And now we're going to do the have fun, right? Have fun. No, that's you. You're the girls just want to have fun. That's you. There's no fun here. I mean, I and others are entertained by this. That's why I allow this or feed into it. But it's like, so you're bitter and resentful about it. Have fun, right? Yeah, we are. We are having fun pointing out your bitch assness. Thank you for allowing us to have fun pointing out your bitch assness. And how you and others are all the same and are always going to get the same results and pretend it's someone else and you don't know why. And this is exactly my point. For 3 years now, certain people have not gotten beyond a certain level of respect with me for obvious reasons. And they make it my problem. When you guys show over and over again why I can't have you with me. I can't give you responsibilities because you're deceptive. You won't be direct. You beat around the bush. You make yourself and me look goofy. And I don't need it. I can do that on my own. I don't need someone to help me with that. Please, you know that. So you're done now. Because I'm sick of you and people like you. Just like I'm sick of your passive-aggressive bullshit when you all meet me and I'm your biggest hero, and then I have to hold accountability sessions and you get bitter over me and stop giving me shit. Go fuck yourself. You never should have gave me anything to begin with. You knew who and what I was. You know I'm a prideful, narcissistic, egotistical, arrogant doer and sayer of truth and holder of accountability and encourager of responsibility. You know you motherfuckers don't like me on some level when I speak truth that applies to you that you don't want to look at. So don't set yourself up. Don't give me shit from the beginning because you're only going to at some point get bitter and resentful and then stop doing it and then project your bitterness and resentment. And then there's no coming back to it until you get where you need to go in life and be what you need to be. All that happens is these interactions, right? You wouldn't believe how many people I've talked myself out of so much money and pussy. It's crazy. If we had the stats, the average beta male, their little spin cap, you know, the little Jewish cap they have, that's a rainbow cap with a little helicopter. Their little beta male caps would just spin off the top of their head. If they realize how many times by me just being me, staying true to myself, talking to the truth that I see, good, bad, or indifferent, and trying to entertain or inspire people with it, if not just do it, an engaging broadcast, they wouldn't believe it. It's just more of a testament to my integrity, because I see you folks coming and going, and if I wanted to, I just take you for everything you're worth, just like everyone else on here does. And I'm the only one of the few who doesn't. I do the opposite. I chase everyone away from me who may have or may still give me shit, because I speak right at the truth that challenges everybody. That, like they say, you want to piss everybody off? Talk the truth. You want to get somewhere in life? Just be able to read everybody and give them what they want to hear. Oh, they'll give you the whole fucking house. They'll let you fuck their wife. Soon as you talk the real truth and what you see in your experience shows, you piss everybody off. At least the majority of folks who don't want to live life on life's terms. I don't care. How about that? That's why I believe I am prosperous on some level. God sees, Paulie boy, look at your heart, man. You know you want like they do. You know you want more and more and more. Yeah, well, when is it ever enough? Okay, right, Paulie boy, you get it. So you get everything you need and then some. You know? You don't need all the extras and the more and more and more, right? You have enough. You get to do what you do, right? It's an honor for you. You get to make change. You get to talk truth. You get to do a broadcast. You know, somehow have value. A lot of people would kill for that. You know, so I don't take that lightly. It's because I'm thankful and grateful for this position, non-position I've worked myself into or non-worked myself into, that I take it seriously. And I'm not giving it up for anything. I'm not bullshitting myself or anybody else here. There may come a point at some time in the future where I'm already entertaining it just to kill time throughout the day and stay busy, you know, and if it makes me some shekels and I learn some skills, whatever, right? I don't necessarily need to do that, but it's like, you know, who doesn't want more value, non-value in the form of learning stuff and working your body out and you know, putting yourself to a task and seeing it through, right? And generating value, right? It's a win-win-win-win. So even though I have all this, I may start working a part-time job off the books, quote unquote. You know, not as a U.S. citizen slave. Yeah, I mean, if anything, that's the thing I never get about a lot of these folks. Once I started seeing value show up and I started seeing these people and God bless me, I go, I'm never going back. Why would I lie? Why would I grift? Talking the truth has got me everything that I am and where I am in life. Good, bad, or indifferent. And I'm happy with the results. So it's like, why would I trade that in to be buddy or to be liked? I took it as more motivation. These people may not have known what they did. That's why so many other folks go, man, they made him fucking arrogant. Once these people started showing up regularly and contributing value I had to fucking rob, cheat, steal, lie, and kill for 10 years ago, or the last 5 years, work out in the snow and in the heat, 12 hours a fucking day. Are you kidding me? Damn right, I better continue. I better go even more. I sit around, I start going, it's time to get locked up, Paulie boy. It's been 6 months. You owe it to these motherfuckers. You owe it to yourself. Let's go past the fear into faith. This is what we're doing. Non-monetizing our enslavement, right? Because there's no contracts here. There's no agreements here. There's no guarantees here. There's no income here. Trust, equity, and faith. Through upholding the law, exercising rights. That's where your power and value is going to come from on every level. You're agency as fuck now, tribe. It's always been that way. A lot of these folks have always been that way. From the first time you see them and hear them, it's been that way. Did 3 years in county jail. You're not supposed to do more than a year county jail as far as I understand. Acquitted on all counts. 4 years later, I was illegally searched. The handgun was found. I did another year before it was thrown out. Had a suppression hearing. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. 3 years county jail. To be acquitted. I guessing I know that you didn't put any documents on record. Either that or they just completely railroaded you, which is always possible. But if you go back there and you don't put anything on record, you don't exist, potentially. You may not exist anyway, even with something on record, right? So, you know, that's potentially part of the game. And then you got to ask yourself, what was formed about this experience for me to experience to take away from this? You know, that's how you turn every negative into a positive. You have to find where God or the universe on some level brought forth this experience for you to have, to somehow see how you could be and do and have better. You know, without that, you know, if you don't have the why, then the how's going to kill you. So, yeah, man, anything's capital. Anything's capital. I'm reading what he's saying. It was a capital case. Okay, so yeah, there was loss, injury, or harm done. That's the bottom line, man. You got loss, injury, and harm done. That's a different conversation. You know, you got a dead body on your hands. Different conversation. You ain't going nowhere. That's what I mean. This is what I mean. How you know that most of these proceedings are not in the common law, because they let you out. You know, you could pay, you can make agreements, you could just walk out without signing anything or giving him anything, right? You got a body on your hands. There's no way out of that. You did loss, injury, and harm. You owe a debt to society now. Whoever that being was part of, whatever society, I don't care if it's their last name, their family name. Excuse me, not last name, family name. Let's say it's John Smith. You owe a debt to the Smith family. If you took a life that ain't yours to take and he wasn't causing loss, injury, and harm to you, that's a whole different dynamic. You know, so if we're talking robbing, we're talking stealing, we're talking killing, anything like that, where you're causing loss, injury, and harm, and you now owe a debt to some man or some group of people, you ain't going nowhere. And if you do go somewhere, they're going to be all over you. Those new stem cells are firing on all cylinders tonight, day 26. Yeah, bro, the last year and a half, man, I've been pretty bad off. I've talked about it a couple times, but in the beginning, I wasn't saying nothing. I was coming on here like all wrapped up with things on me, taking hundreds of milligrams of THC and still in a lot of pain, you know, to the point where I'm sure if you go back, you can, maybe you a lot of you knew it, you know, during the time, but I really don't like showing weakness, I guess. I don't like submitting to weakness at this point. I take any weakness or test and challenge as a way to push forward and to master myself, right? And get better in life. But, you know, as I'm starting to feel better slowly but surely, presuming that everything is going to get back to where it wasn't, because, you know, I'm going to start living more healthy. Yeah, man, I was coming on and doing these broadcasts, and as much as it may not have seemed like it, I was in constant pain, like really bad, to the point where when I go to the store, I couldn't even walk around. You know, I couldn't do basic activities. You know, so I can always run on spirit to some degree. I can always have a care and passion for certain subjects and ideas and truth and, you know, whatever. But the reality of it is I was really bad off, to the point where, you know, some nights I was kind of resigned that, you know, this is it. I'm out of here, you know, and I got to make peace with that. And, you know, at least I've done some things differently than most. And I've had some experiences that I couldn't buy and I wouldn't change. So, yeah, I mean, coming back from that, where over the past year and a half, 2 years, I've really kind of just, I've kept going because I just believe in showing up for myself and the audience. And I've been honored to, like I said, have this place and folks who come here and the ability to do this. And, you know, in a sense, I don't want to say it was a dream or it is a dream, but, you know, it's an aspect of that. So to me, you know, my life, I'd have to be dead to not show up. There's just no excuse, right? What am I going to do? I'm going to sit in pain somewhere and not do my responsibilities. If I can do it, I will do it. You know, if it can be overcome, it should be overcome. So, but yeah, there was a couple times here, like, you know, there was times where I was leaning for 2 hours at a time on clips because I almost couldn't talk. And folks who know me know that if I can't talk or I'm not wanting to talk, there's, you know, issues, not small talk, but doing this, you know? So, yeah, it's been some tests and challenging. It seems that we're on a new track here, faithfully, potentially. We're going to be healed and made whole and have an opportunity to continue do whatever it is, the universe or God has in store for myself and others here. So that's why you got a little nicer. I don't. Potentially, maybe if you're saying that, I don't necessarily see that. It's maybe why I got a little bit less loud and animated. I've taken I've kind of got back to having more of a sense of humor. But I've always had that, really. But yeah, I've gotten less animated. You know, I've kind of put a cap on my passion, so to speak, or my righteous indignation. Because yeah, I don't want to get my heart rate up. I don't want to get my blood pressure up. I don't want to get hot under the collar, you know. But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say I've gotten nicer. If anything, it's very interesting how folks have these perspectives. If anything, it could be argued I'm less nicer. Did you not see Talcott come in here just yesterday to snake back around like he always does to give me the reach around and bullshit me and everyone else? And I just threw him right the fuck out of here because I'm like so in alignment and focused on just doing and being whatever it is that I'm meant to do and be. I don't want to entertain any of these slugs anymore. You could argue I'm being less nice, being less patient, less forgiving, less allowing of my time, energy, attention to be drained and used and abused. I just rather not be here. Do 2 hours or an hour or 20 minutes and fucking go on my day. So, hey, Brendan, if that makes you feel better or you notice something that I'm not noticing, then huzzah for that, right? Let's rejoice. Paulie boy has somehow gotten nicer, according to Brendan. Brendan, maybe you're too nice. Yeah, he's too nice until he gets bitter and resentful and starts acting like a bitch. Something that we see here many times. We've seen it many times. But again, Brendan understands that we have the same story. We're oneself on the highest level. On the lowest level, I'm not going to tolerate his garbage. He may want to tolerate his bullshit. I don't tolerate my own bullshit. I'm definitely not going to tolerate his or anyone else's. So if he wants to do that, he's free to do that. But he knows what my intent is with him. He knows why I'm hard on him at times. He knows why I engage with him the way I do, because I want him to get a fire lit under his ass. He doesn't have to yell and scream like I have in the past or like I even do here at times now. You know, get a fire under your ass. Get some get up and go. Really care about yourself and your life. Be better, do better, have better. That's all it is. If that ain't working for you that way, then, you know, act like I don't exist. It's probably the best option for everybody. I don't know what you're saying, Jeep Creature. Talking about King Nico. I don't know who that is. Major Lolcow. They're gossiping. This is the time for Tribe to point out the gossiping. Oh yeah, that's right. I got to remove Tribe from moderation. Let's see here. Paul enslaved. Proper instructions. Yeah, I don't know why these folks didn't tell me this earlier. I don't know what would make these folks think that like I'd be okay with that or that that's acceptable. I don't want the Castro's mods. I don't really want anyone being a mod. But now we're somehow on YouTube and we're going to show up and somehow I have mods that are also DeCastro's mods. I don't want anything. The fact that we share the same platform is too much for me. The fact that we're both on YouTube is too much for me. And we're going to share a tribe. Not likely. You can have them. That's the thing. They say Paulie boy don't play well with others. He doesn't. Yes, I do. You can have it all. You can have him. I'm not fighting over him. Have him. He's your mod. I don't need mods anyway, really. I did it to just make it easier on myself at times. This way, when I'm in my flow and in my rap, and I know what's going to happen. Half the time, I'm focusing. I'm doing what I'm doing. When I go back to look at the chat, 5 people already got thrown out. I can't complain or bitch about what I don't know about. And if they won't come up on panel and present themselves, I don't give a fuck. So there's that. Tribe, you are the weakest link and your mods are gone. Goodbye. You've now been demoted back to just regular old feudal serf slave. No longer part of the king's court. No longer a nobleman. It was fun while it lasted. How do you structure yourself, Paul, especially on the beginning of your detox fasting journey? Do you keep a schedule or regiment? No, I don't keep schedules or regiment for anything. You should know that by now. You know how I am. Everything's spontaneous. Everything's on the fly. Everything's based on intuition and instinct and an understanding, or not. So, no, I didn't prepare for anything. I didn't do anything different. I went right into it as always, extremist that I am. I went from pizza and pasta and fried rice every fucking day, fairly copious amounts of it, to absolutely nothing at all. And that's just par for the course with me. You know, I've always been that way. I'm just kind of an extremist. And that's exactly why I need to practice the middle way. Because somehow I'm capable of eating pizza and pasta and gorging myself, becoming a fat slave. And I'm also capable of not eating anything at all. Why am I not capable of just living rightly and eating in moderation when I do eat, and eating what I know I'm supposed to, and then having a treat, right? That's the addict in me. That's why. It's like saying, why can't Paulie Boy have half a Xanax? Because he can't. Or because he needs to, again, not the best example, because I'm not into practicing moderation with taking drugs at this point. The point is that I've always been that person. While everyone else could take half a Xanax, and I just take half a Xanax here and there, right? If Paulie Boy takes half a Xanax on Monday, it's 4 a day, every day by Sunday, until something bad happens. I have to know that about me. And then I have to work with that or around that. That's the point of a conscious, aware lifestyle and practice. Knowing yourself, knowing your certain tendencies, and practicing working out of that or working with that to direct that, if possible. So, yeah. Maybe, again, that's why a lot of these situations I have to remove everything from myself and around my area, because if not, I'll slack. I'll let myself slip, you know. Just like, when I saw Slack-Cod, he went and bought a liquor bottle and kept it in his house and still has it there. It's like, dude, you're planning on drinking again. That's why you have it there. You're subconsciously already decided at some point when you can't lie to yourself and everyone else about your constant failure, you're going to go back to drinking. That's why you have that bottle there. Someone who's not going back to their drug does not keep their drug of choice around the house. That's absurd. So yeah, it's the same thing with food or anything else. If you don't want to slip and you don't want to relapse or regress, don't buy it. Don't keep it around, because we know what happens. For a day. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Kind of like 15 IV bags of heroin a day and 1.5 grams of Molly rock all together. Wow. I'm an extremist addict. And without trust, equity, and faith, and a care for myself to do the next right thing, I will destroy myself and others. Acid? No. 2.5 years ago at that Freedom Festival. Yeah. But since then, I'm kind of over it. I have no reason to play with my brain chemistry like that. If I'm going to do that, there's mushrooms for that or whatever else. It's natural. To take fucking acid, that's some chemical that some jerk off is making in his basement. You don't know what it is. It's not self-care. That's gambling with who and what you are and your beingness. I've done enough of that. For what? To see what? Colors and shapes? To talk to the fucking elves? To see Ian's shadow uncle who touched him, which is why he acts like an effeminate bitch? I'm sorry, Ian. You know I love you and care about you. And you got that broad over there, so who gives a fuck what I say? No. Again, if I'm going to go that route, mushrooms is fine because it's natural. You know what's in there. It's the same thing every time. Trust your source, right? What better source than Mother Nature? But some shit that's dropped on something else that's from some guy's fucking backyard? No. Those days are over. Here we go. Acid is great. I didn't, Brendan the loser. I'm not asking you about your shitty, horrible lifestyle. Don't you get it? He still doesn't get it. We just talked about 5 minutes ago, you being a loser, failure, drug addict who won't work. You're basically slack caught without a 40-person live broadcast. You know, and without a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom house you didn't pay for. You're living at your mother's house. You don't work. You still take Suboxone and whatever else, which you're supposed to take to get off heroin and then get off that. You won't, because you're an extreme addict. And now you're going to tell me how great acid is and all that. I didn't ask. See, this is my point. You were the guy 10 years ago when I went to rehab and I finally decided I'm here for a reason. I'm mandated to be here by the court. I didn't want to be here, but now that I'm here for a reason, because drugs keep fucking up my life, and I keep fucking up my life by doing drugs and hanging around loser failures. Ta-da! So guess what? When I was in the rehab, I didn't entertain any of this conversation. It wasn't for me. I did a 180 completely. I may as well be straight edge to some degree. Is how they all took it. That's how they all treated me after a certain point. So I don't want to sit around the rehab talking about your drug stories and how you love this drug and love that one and you did the same shit that every other jerk off did while taking them because your life's a movie. Not interested. Boring. Loser failure talk. You know how many times I was in rehab where these clowns all went out back to chain smoke cigarettes and still just feed their addiction and not do any growth and learning and have any real conversation, and they'd start talking to me and I go, didn't I fucking tell you? I had to tell 15 people over and over again. Every fucking day. You know, I started with the cigarettes when I first went in there, and then I stopped. I go, why am I going to go to rehab and pick up new addictions and further this addiction? It doesn't make any sense. So you go out there to get some air, walk around, whatever, and right away, everywhere you go, every corner of the place you go, these loser failure druggies sit around and regale their stories about being loser failures and going nowhere in life and sitting around with their buddies, jacking off proverbially and getting high and thinking that they're onto something. And I go, why are you guys glorifying this? Why are you telling war stories? You've never been to war. You can't even master yourselves. You can't even win the war within. And you're out here regaling yourselves and each other with drug stories while we're in rehab. Don't you feel like a pathetic loser failure? This is me talking, heroin addict, IV. Because I got it at a certain point. I just started to get it, you know, because I wanted to get it. Acid's great, man. This is great, man. Oh, let me tell you about a time. Stop you right there. It's the same shit over and over again. You're not that interesting. You're boring me, and you're dysfunctional. Take it somewhere else. Oh, Paulie's all of a sudden, you know, he's too cool for school and all. No, I'm just done being a loser failure and acting like drugs are so interesting and exciting and powerful. They are if you use them as tools. Most people don't. And that's again why your system doesn't let most people have access to them, because most people will use them and abuse them. They'll push them on other people, and they'll walk around in a semi-retarded state claiming that they're enlightened, like Slackcott, and that the drugs are so great, man. That's what fascinates me. You know how many people, while I was doing drugs, I go, I enjoy these drugs. They're a good tool for me. I'm learning stuff about myself or having interesting experience, but I don't want to wind up like these people. Bunch of burnt out loser failure wannabe hippies who got some ideology why they're going to be a baked potato in a chair and somehow make a living and be successful. Complete denial and delusion. That's most people who use drugs. I got news for you. Not all, like most things I say, not all, but most. Oh, the drug is the thing, man. You know, instead of like trust, equity, and faith, God, consciousness, and awareness, human experience. No, it's the drug, man. The acid, the DMT, and then what? And then what? You're going to sit there and take acid and smoke DMT for the rest of your life and talk to Ian's shadow uncle who touched him one time? You're going to talk to the little gay elves with Joe Rogan? And what? And then you take these fucking drugs, and I never see these creatures. They won't show themselves to me. That's how I know there's something there, right? You know, because there's different drugs, and they're not all created equal, and different ones open different pathways that lead to certain results. So you take these drugs, and I took a bunch of DMT. It's interesting. I may do it again if it was a genuine source, but I don't have the experience the others have. The creatures don't come to me. And I suspect that's because they somehow can intuit, like we all can. They go, don't go to Paulie Boy because he's going to run his mouth. He's going to look at us and ask us questions and listen to us. And he's going to discern who and what we are. And he's going to run his mouth to everyone about who and what we are. I believe these things only come to people who are suggestible and manipulatable. They come to the Slackcots. They come to the Brandons. They come to those people who can't see and talk and make sense. They don't come to folks like me because we're going to out them. See? That's what I started to believe. Certain ones of them. I'm not saying every DMT experience is the same. Don't fucking misquote me now like a lot of you like to do. There's different DMT experiences, but there's certain ones where they say they see the creatures and they show up like this. I'll show you what they show up like. Just like this.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I want to help you. I want to help you live the life you want to love.
No. That's not what happens. All the accounts say they show up like that. Listen to me. And then they go, here's some technology, build it for us. And it's like bombs and lasers and rays and cloaks. And yeah, it's some kind of demonic conceptualization, some kind of consciousness and awareness that's trying to use humans to be a builder of what it can't build. Right? That's what all the anecdotes pretty much show and tell. You know? So they don't ever show themselves to me, oddly enough. And again, like I said, I believe I know why, potentially. They go to the Ians. That's who they go to. They go to the Jesse Howells. That's who they go to. See? There's a clear difference between us. You can say whatever you want, but if we're being objective and honest, there's a clear difference between myself and many of these other characters. They're very easily manipulatable and suggestible. We know that by watching them on panels, how they interact with other people. So of course these spirits are going to go to them and say, look, it's us. We're so powerful and bright. We're beings of light. Here's the plans. Build it. Be part of it. And you turn around 50 years from now and it's complete satanic New World Order based on dark matter entities, right? The shadow people. They're bragging about this shit. We take DMT and see the shadow people. I'm sure you do. Interesting, they never showed themselves to me. Why do they come to you, I wonder? The same reason why everyone comes to you. Because you're a dupe. You're a mark. You're suggestible and manipulatable. You're easy to be parasited and used. I'm not. Go ask the 15 people who showed up on these panels or more and tried to do it. I'm not that easy to parasite off of and use. I make it very difficult. I'm not that easy to manipulate. I'm not that suggestible, if you haven't noticed. Some people are capable of being responsible, but you're not one of them. Why are you talking about some people? There you go again, Brandon. The implication, Brandon Tribe, is that you're one of the people who, well, Paulie Boy, you're not capable of being responsible, but some people are. Okay, you're right. Some people are. You ain't one of them. And predominantly through my life, I haven't been one of them. You going to get real today, Junior? Or are you going to try to pass off that you're one of the people who can be responsible with the drug? Give me a fucking break. You're a complete addict. You've given yourselves over to the drugs. And if you're going to delude yourself here today by saying you're a responsible person with substance, you're really off the deep end. Didn't I block you the other day? Why are you here? I must have timed you out. I should block you completely. I'm tired of your garbage. I've let you sit around here. What are you going on now? Many of you folks have been here for long enough. And I don't know why I continue to let you around here and entertain you in your foolishness. Guess it gives me something to do. Gives me something to go to and talk about. Let's pull up fool number 362. Gives me something to, it's the same loop as every other fool. Right. Another guy who just comes here and says shit based on what his feelers report to him. Another guy who I'd bet anything on it has no strong man in his life. Another guy I bet anything on it was raised by his mama. Another guy in complete delusion and denial, like every other male raised by his mama. Sad. Devoid of logic. That's what happens when you get not raised by a mama and get henpecked all day and then get projected onto that you're such, when they're not henpecking you, they're projecting you such a special boy. Your mama's special boy. And that's how you grow up with no fucking logic, morals, and ethics. You just live your whole life based on your next feeler and how you interpret it. And it's never accurate. It's always delusional. It's always based in denial. It's always based in fear of confronting the truth. Okay. I'm getting the hell out of here. I've said enough. Whatever I've said here has applied to myself and everybody else here at one time. And that's pretty much the loop day to day on this broadcast, right? You can't run from self without running into self. My life is great. I love life. Okay. Well, then let me help you out. I'm not really interested in you and your life. I'm really not entertained or inspired by you. I think you're in denial and delusional. So I'm going to ban you for good. And you can love your life and live how great it is somewhere else. See? See how much of a good person I am? Why would I take you away from your life and how much you love it and how great it is by me projecting onto it that you're a loser failure? Why would you even want to hear that and listen to that? I just freed you up, man. Go live that empowering, inspiring life that you love so much. Don't let me hold you back. Everybody's full of shit and thinks everybody else is like them. Again, I'm not as easy manipulatable and suggestible as you. You can say whatever you want. We know different. We've met you here. We've talked to you. We know your life. You shouldn't love that life you're living. If you do, it's because you're a death worshiper and you hate yourself subconsciously. If you really loved yourself and loved life, you wouldn't be on Suboxone. You wouldn't be living at your mama's house. You wouldn't be not working. You wouldn't be a broke bitch. And you wouldn't be on here constantly watching me doing and being something and then having an opinion about it like it fucking matters. Hello. Sorry to have to crack everyone over the head again with the quiet part out loud. So just keep living in delusion and denial. Just do it somewhere else, man. And call it whatever you want. If it makes you feel better, I support it. Ain't got to go home, but you got to get the hell up out of here. Right. Just saw you for the first time. I agree. I'm 34. Welcome. This is my version of online NAAA, and we have an asylum around back for those who can't get it together. It's AANA up front. It's kind of, you know, it's like not a facade, but that's like the meeting area. That's for the generalized public. And then round back is an asylum. So it's like 2 in 1. We do outpatient, inpatient treatment here. Fellowship. Paulina, please come home. The kids are hungry. I don't know what that means. Zatoichi, you're another one. If you're attempting to play games with me, you know, yeah, you're another one who can't get on panel. And when you do go on panel, it's everywhere else where losers and failures are like regaled, you know, like slack cots. And you get up there and you do make some sense sometimes. And you have a way of pointing out how Jack Talcott's completely hypocritical and insane. But that's where it kind of begins and ends, right? The rest of you is kind of lukewarm, procrastinating, lazy, unwillful, undisciplined. You're basically a baked potato in a chair, right? Even if you have some sense and can see reality, you don't do nothing with it, as far as I can tell. But I don't really know much about you. I'm open to it, but you won't come up here because this isn't a place that fosters loser failuredom. This isn't a place that just allows everyone to be a drifting slacker-tard. Right? There's some accountability, responsibility, and standard here. You don't shy away from those places. You go to where it's just a complete fuck show. There's no values, no principles, nothing going on. Right? That's where you feel at home. The asylum round back. Remember I just spoke about what we spoke about. All right, I'm getting the hell out of here. I love you. I'm going to say it twice so you know it's real. Much love, much love. Okay? I love you folks. But ultimately, I love the truth more, and it's got to be that way. So I will drop you in a hot second to pursue the truth or to co-create with that and get those results. Right? Because my future is not worth being liked or accepted by you, whoever you are. And I would think you would feel the same way about me or anyone, right? There's no specials here. There's no favoritism. This is an entertaining broadcast. Well, I'm glad you got something out of it. It's a bit toxic. Bit toxic sometimes, bit negative. It gets dark, you know. But hey, such is life, right? Potentially. Part of the aspects of self reflect the aspects of life. We can't deny that. Can't ignore that. So we work with it. We attempt to understand it. We experience it. Talk about it. We're accountable. We're responsible. shit's funny and thought-provoking. That's what I'm going for, sir. That's what I'm going for. Basically willing to play the fool here every day by explaining to fools how life works, doing it in a way where I appear frustrated, which I somewhat am. I let myself be that. And that's what I'm going for. A bit thought-provoking, a bit changey of perspective, a bit entertaining, sort of engaging, right? So you're getting it. You get it. All right, I'm off the clock now. I did my 2. You guys got an extra 40 out of me. Okay. So be thankful and grateful for that if you're somewhat entertained. You will most likely, in an inequitous way, the word is iniquitous, I say inequitous. In an equitous way, you will come here regularly, get entertained by me. I will change your life in some way with this perspective, and you will do little to nothing for me, with me, for yourself, or for the truth and what's right. And then that's going to be a problem for you. See? That's what inequitous is. Because like I say to folks who come here, they're interested, they're entertained, they're excited, whatever. I don't grift, but contributions and all the rest of it's always welcome. The first contribution and support you can make and have, see, it's not as much as we all like the things, it's not that, right? Some folks do that, and I'm blessed because of that. But the first contribution is to self and to life on life's terms. So as much as I, like Slackcott, want like $1,000 vacations to LA that's now burnt down, so he's not going. You imagine this? Slackcott had one place he was going to go in the last 7 years, which was to a conference in LA, and LA burnt down. I'm telling you guys, I have a hard time believing this is a guy who's in alignment with the God of creation. Literally everything he touches turns to shit or burnt ash. But hey, I don't know how I got off on that. The point is as much as like Jack Talcott, I love $1,500 trips with no money that I have. I just love when people give me $1,500 and say, hey, come to LA and, let's live, we're partying, all the rest. Yeah, that's great. I like that. We all like that. But first and foremost is like slavery and genocide. So it'd be cool if I could like see a whole bunch more people show up here with their experience. We're fellowshipping. They're really applying it. They're getting results. We're in the pocket. And then if they want to kick in here and there because I put in the time 7 days a week, great. If not, I can at least respect you. You see? But it's like, if you come here, Paul, you're so great. Everything's so great. It's so great. And then you're a slave. And then you don't contribute any equity and you don't bring any bits. Or you don't come up on, what are we doing? What is this? Some kind of zoo exhibit? Let's get real with ourselves and each other here about what the fuck this is. Okay. Third coming, maybe. I don't know. Do you have a PO? No, we're not doing this. No way. I'm not the Castro. I'm not the other, because I know what will happen. Are you kidding me? If I open a PO box to this group of people, have you seen these people? They're a reflection of me. I'll leave it at that. You want me to open a PO box and give it out to the public here? I'm not Slackcott. I already get shit. I didn't even give out anything, and I'm already getting people stalking me and chasing me down. You want me to open a PO box so that Illuma Tommy can send me his sharded drawers in the mail, right? So he can try to send me anthrax so he can be the best broadcaster when I'm dead. Yeah, no. And Julian Barbary, I appreciate your contribution, but not necessarily necessary in the sense of you're living it, you're walking it, you're doing what's true and what's right. I suspect that you're not exactly a rich man. But hey, I do appreciate. Yeah, exactly. He wants to mail me literally shit. That's what will happen. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to open that door. That door was potentially going to be open in the beginning. I strongly considered it. I decided against it. I'm not opening that door of mailboxes and mail packages because I know it'll invariably happen. And part of me's open to it. I have the mischievous clown in me, and I'll have it. But then it will happen, right? It's like you open that door. It starts off with one ha-ha joke, then some dark morbid shit. Then it gets harmful and hurtful with people who are really sick and twisted and hating. It's always the case. So I don't need that kind of extra drama and problems in my life, right? Keep it. Whatever it is, if you got to mail it to me, just keep it. All right. God guy's gonna mail. I can only imagine. Polly boy, I so appreciate you in this broadcast. I'm so informed or interested and entertained. I'm gonna mail you my grandmother's dentures, and you can pawn them, at a local shop. It's like, no, dude, that's okay. I don't want your grandmother's dentures, and I don't want Illuma Tommy having access to me via mailbox. He's too much of a punk coward to show up and see me anywhere in life while threatening me constantly. But he will, like most cowards, send something to the mailbox. We know that. So we'll snafu the slave. Yeah, they'll try to mail like body parts or children's panties and then say they blew up a story. We just got news Paul and Slave received a package from an unknown source and it was children's panties. He's a pogo. We already know where this is going to go. Yeah, Lee, I got so many other things going on while nothing at all, really. And I just, I haven't made the extra time. I got cars we're fixing, land I want to get, healing myself. There's 5 to 10 things going on, getting gold teeth. Not high on the list. But at some point, I'll take some of that gold and some other gold and I'll make up some, if nothing else, the one tooth to cover my broken tooth. And I can be gold tooth Paulie. And that'll excite people. They'll call me a wigger. They'll treat me like I'm some low-life scum from the UK, some kind of Irish gangbang scum. There it is. Wouldn't be complete if we didn't get that. Wouldn't be complete in the holographic reflective simulation if we didn't get RU and albino. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Because I have a good 1,000 to 2,000 people who come here 7 days a week for a few 1,000 days straight here. And they sometimes think like, Paulie, what's with the whole holographic reflective or oneself, whatever you do? What is that? Hello? Right. Without fail. Every day. The same 5 comments. Proving we're all oneself. These people all think they're their own person doing this. Beyond fascinating. That'll never get old to me. That little parlor. See what I just did there? I just pulled the rabbit. That little parlor trick will never get old to me. I'm not even doing it. I'm just a part of it. It just, shows up more in my life, I guess. And now you just got a blast to the past. This is what it's like. Just imagine me like this with what the little bit you can see about my awareness and what I'm dealing with here, just in life. Imagine this now transported back to middle school. I've been living this since middle school. Every day I show up, it's the same fucking loops with these people. They say the same shit. I say the same shit. Nothing changes. It all gets worse. And then they ask me the same questions from top to bottom. That's life. All right. Like I said, I love you. I love the truth more. It's got to be that way. I suggest you do the same. If you don't love the truth and you're not willing to live it, I'm going to tell you, you're a bitch ass motherfucker. I'm probably going to call you a loser failure. And I'm probably going to hold you accountable to how you're not response-able and a detriment to yourself, because I know me, so I know you. And that comment's proof of it. I'm out of here, people. We never finished Fleischer. I'll finish it tomorrow. Does it even really matter? Again, even Fleischer, same thing every time. We get it. Effeminate beta male, ridiculous suit, talking down to the slaves to keep order, non-order. We got it. Fleischer, we got it. Okay. You're looping too. No one can escape the loop. All unbeatable on the way out. Say goodnight to the bad guy. Back tomorrow, 12 to 5 MDT. Starring Slow State. Fan favorite.
It's not about an uprising. You're not getting it. There's no uprising. I'm way quieter there than I am here. I'm not dealing with a bunch of incompetent, incapable infidels. They're just corrupt. And they know who to be corrupt with and who not. I'm passionate about the truth. I'm confident in my knowledge of self, if nothing else, and my ability to convey that. Full stop. Nothing before or after. I'm not interested in what legal and illegal is. I'm not a member of the legal society. I'm not even a member of the law society. There's 2 of them for a reason. I uphold the law. I'm not interested in legal policy and code. You don't know what you need to know about legal and lawful common law, and just by speaking, you get yourself wrapped up in their jurisdiction. The common law is still the foundational law of the land, and it's based on universal law, and it's codified in the contract you call the Constitution, and delineated into 2 jurisdictions, protected class and privileged class, private and public. That's all I need to know. I'm a very simple man. You swear in a Bible at court for a reason. That must mean the original law is within that Bible. So if you can interpret that original law properly and convey it properly with the proper countenance, you will be free from latches, vice, and bondage, as the word indicates. I'm not going to sit here undoing you from your worldly left brain, mind, and heart control because you don't understand the right brain intuitive concepts of life. You don't understand the metaphysical concepts of life. You don't understand the ideologies and philosophies that are the precepts of this system. I'll go back to the Tao before courts ever existed. A man's own thoughts unguarded are his own worst enemy until conquered. Then a man's own thoughts are his best friend, can help him more than even his own mother and father can. All you understand is worldly power, value, and systems. You don't understand the inherent hierarchical power and value systems that give way to everything that we see and experience here. You're lost, broken, confused, projecting onto me, and I'm having to be your daddy to explain how the universe and its laws work, and you're not even paying me, nor are you thanking me. You're hating on me while asking me to do it. It's bizarre. Yes, the words mean something, and the position means something, and the status means something, and you just don't get how it all comes together and how it works.
I do, though.
You don't. And that's where we're going to let it lie. You claim you do. I claim you don't. I'm laying out my understanding. You're not laying out yours beyond what they've told you. And we're going to let it lie there, and the people can make up their mind like they always do.
Do you want me to lay mine out? I will.
Sure, go ahead. I'm sure I've never heard it before.
No, I can see. That's why it doesn't, nobody's helped by, I know how being a defendant is, and I know that there's a difference between law on the books that the guys with guns hold you to, and philosophy. You are accountable to them, because if not, they'll just come with guns and get you.
So the fact that you don't understand what that means, yet that is the window into how this all works, is really not my problem. I can't understand it for you. And for you to sit here, go ahead, waste our time, energy, attention, telling me how you think it works based on what you see, when we already know you're the type of person who looks and does not see. There's an etymological sound understanding that is spoken about. The origination is common lore, because all of law and philosophy is passed down orally, not the way you would want it to be, spoken, okay? And through that understanding, we get courts and codifications and legislation. So you might want to do another 5 years at least, another couple thousand hours of study on the origination of law and lore, how it all comes down through the matrix system that we experience on the lowest, most worldly, earthly level, and really put the pieces together about how this all came about. I'm telling you simply, I have a conviction in my heart. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. Come get me and do your worst. What don't you get about that? What don't you get about that on the lowest level as a man? What don't you get about that on the lowest level as a man? I'm going to do and say whatever the fuck I want, and the devil can be damned to come and stop me.
There's a lot of people.
What don't you get about it? What don't you get about it?
Why you're free.
Right, because you're a hater. You just admitted it subconsciously. Why is he free? Why isn't he in prison yet? You better go to God with that, or the devil. Stay the fuck away from me and stop projecting onto me, because it's not going to end well for you. Now you can take your leave, and I don't care if you ever come back here. Because I'm done with you. I've been done with you for the longest time. You can't stand that I'm done with you. And the fact that I'm done with you and that they haven't done me in yet eats at your ego, along with many other things I do that you can't do or won't do, because you're a fucking poor, broke, loser, low consciousness coward. So keep trying to do the equivocations with me and equalizations with me and power struggles and competitions. It goes nowhere for you. All you did was give me more fucking content. Thank you. There is no hate I have for you as a being in my heart. I don't like what you do, and I don't have to. You're a worldly infidel who lacks faith. You're bad faith, and you're dishonorable. Worse than that, you're fucking stupid.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I want to help you. I want to help you live the life you want to love.